55 is optimistic, I would say. I just kind of picked the middle number. It's going to drop from the 70s at midnight, and it'll continue to fall.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Now on Fox 17 News this Tuesday morning, school choice, a very hot debate right here in Middle Tennessee, but now some say it's personal. The attacks coming from Democrats.
A change of heart. A Tennessee representative indicates he might not be ready for retirement after all.
Waking up showers already on the radar. Not an all-day rain for us. Two batches move in. One a little bit lighter than the other. We'll track them both in your forecast.
Thank you so much for waking up with us here on a Tuesday morning. 4 o'clock is the time. I'm Erica Glover.
I'm Jennifer Waddell. Glad to be here for you as your live local news source through 9 a.m.
We're following breaking news this morning. Want to let you know Metro Police say one person was killed after an overnight shooting right near Fisk University. We are mapping it out on your screen. Metro dispatchers confirming it happened around 10 o'clock last night on 16th Avenue North near Herman Street. As of right now, they're not sharing any kind of information about the victim or who they're looking for, who is responsible. It's a breaking news story that will continue updating as we get some more details.
And also breaking this morning, the search continues in Sumner County for the young man you see here on your screen. This is 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers. He was last seen by his family Sunday night. He is 15 with autism. He is verbal, but I was just telling Erica that we know so many folks in Hendersonville who are part of search teams looking right now. They have had choppers and canine crews out trying to find Sebastian. They are so worried about him. The TBI put out an endangered child alert for Sebastian Rogers just yesterday. And as I mentioned, that search is continuing nonstop. We understand the last time his family saw him was Sunday night in Hendersonville.
Near Stafford Court is the area they were looking at. He was last seen wearing all black and maybe hiding in a place like, think a garage or a car, maybe under a deck. If you have any information about Sebastian's whereabouts, you were asked to call 1-800-TBI-FIND. And by the way, do want to say, if you want to take another look at the photos or the updates, go to fox17.com and search out this story.
Yeah, and you can share it as well, right? Like from our social media accounts, just to get the word out there. Right now, crisis in the classroom. The House version of the school choice bill has officially been filed now, and the state education commissioner is now in the hot seat because Democrats say she's not a Tennessee resident.
Yeah, so we're getting some more updates about this. Representative Scott Sapicki is the chair of the Education Instruction Subcommittee. He says the House version of the voucher bill focuses on educational reform with less testing and streamlining teacher evaluations. But then on the other side, Representative Caleb Hemmer says Tennessee Education Commissioner Lizette Reynolds, who is behind this voucher program, is not legally qualified for her position.
Now, Hemmer claims that she has no teacher's license and is not a resident of Tennessee. The House subcommittee meets later today to try to walk through the bill, and they might vote on it as well. We'll keep you posted.
We're going to check in now with our Code Red meteorologist, Greg Bobus. You said some showers in some spots, depending on where you are.
That is exactly how we're starting off the day here. They're beginning to move in. We'll give you the 3 bullet points, then we'll get over there and start looking at the radar, whose hometowns have the rain and who sees it next. Warm and windy, those are the 2 biggest things here that are new this morning. I will be tracking that rain for you about every 5 to 10 minutes as it slowly chugs its way through middle of Tennessee and southern Kentucky. But wind, you're going to notice that even a little bit right now, but really this afternoon and overnight, wind gusts up near 40 miles per hour. Thunderstorms start tonight, but look at the words there at the bottom. It's a green bar and it says all clear. None of this is code red weather. None of this is too dangerous. Severe weather still looking to not be in our cards. That stays well to our north. But here is the radar to wake up to this morning. And you can see this is the last 1 hour. Moving pretty decently quickly here. In the last 15-20 minutes, showers have made their way closer to the Nashville area. When you see me in about 5 minutes, we're going to start putting tracks on where these showers are at and find the heavier pockets of rain.
Greg, thank you very much. In steer clear traffic right now, giving you a check and an all clear early here on your Tuesday morning. No problems on I-65 at Trinity Lane. In fact, we are crash-free around the Mid-State. I don't see any backups. I don't see any major construction problems. But as we see things pop up, we'll be the first to let you know. Your live local news source through 9.
We also have another breaking news update. This one regarding a fire breaking out over on Murfreesboro Pike. This happening at an abandoned house. Now, this is early this morning that this happened, so we're getting out here to the scene, showing you what they are doing, and it looks like this home is destroyed.
Wow.
The fire crews out there, you see still with their hoses trying to extinguish what's left.
Oh my goodness. All right, yeah, that is quite the scene, and a lot of folks on standby, as Erica mentioned. They are trying to make sure they've got this thing fully out. We're going to work to get some more details about this home, about the neighborhood, and about what started earlier this morning. But thanks to Madison, our photojournalist, who's out there this morning giving us a live look. Continuing coverage this morning on the future of Congressman Mark Green, Tennessee representative who may be walking back his retirement announcement.
Yeah, so just last week we were talking about how he is retiring. Well, now the Tennessee lawmaker says he is reconsidering. 2 weeks ago is when he told us he was going to go ahead and leave Washington after accomplishing, he says, everything that he wanted to. Well, his office not going into what exactly is behind this change of heart.
All right, so if Mark Green does decide he's going to run again, he could face former Nashville Mayor Megan Barry if she wins the Democratic primary. A loss in the district, though, could be a big blow to the GOP, which is hanging on to a majority in the House.
Coming up, years after a deadly shooting, police tracking down the man who they say may be responsible. More on this case and the charges in a couple of minutes.
Street race
$1,000 because he owed you $200.
I got it itemized right here.
You can have it itemized from here to Pluto.
Next Judge Judy.
Tomorrow at 4 on Fox 17.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. 4:08 is your time. 2 seniors at a Nashville high school now arrested and facing charges of bringing guns to school.
Very serious here. Fox 17 News reporter Karen Aguilar joining us live in front of Pearl Cone High School to tell us who they are and where this all happened. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning. Well, it's a scary thought considering the Covenant School shooting that killed several. Now, we don't know the intent of the 2 seniors that come here behind me to Pearl Cone High School, but what we do know is that police say that their guns were found fully loaded. The 2 arrested on Monday were 18-year-old Ladarius Britt and 18-year-old Macandale Green. Police say Britt had a gun in the glove box of his car when school staff searched the parking lot. The gun came back as stolen, but Britt didn't say how he got the gun. He was charged with carrying a weapon on school property and theft. Police say Green had a gun in his backpack. He also didn't say where he got it, but told police he brought it to school for protection. He was charged with carrying a weapon on school property. Now, this all happened during a random school search. It's still early, but I reached out to Pearl Cone High School to ask if they plan to increase security measures after this incident. Reporting live in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. In Operation Crime and Justice, there is a man who is now behind bars for a shooting that left 1 man dead back in September of 2022. Metro Police arresting this man, 42-year-old Jermaine Jenkins, on Sunday night. He is accused of killing 43-year-old Christopher Gooddale on West Trinity Lane. Gooddale was found in a gas station parking lot. 2 other people were arrested in connection to the getaway car.
We have 5 people facing charges this morning as Metro Police continue their crackdown on street racers. If you take a look at your screen right here, Amilcar Mejia, Catalan Rodriguez, Pablo Rodolfo, Leandria Bailey, and a 17-year-old, all facing charges. Police say that group was doing all kinds of stunts in South Nashville during an illegal street meetup. 4:10 is the time right now. We are tracking some rain popping up here this morning on a Tuesday. Greg, I just heard our photojournalist Kevin Mumphrey, who's always out there for us. He was doing a mic check, and I heard him say, "Here's the rain. It's here."
Oh, it is here, and it's broken. It's very choppy at best, but even a couple of rumbles of thunder here, waking us up on a Tuesday morning. No severe weather. We're not going to have any watches or warnings issued this morning, but here we go. There are many areas that have not seen any rain yet, and most of us have only had light to moderate rain starting up here. Mount Juliet, about 10-15 minutes. You get up toward Gladeville, about 15-20 minutes, your first drops of the morning. You can see all the greens indicating just lighter rainfall, but our first decent downpour with a couple of thunder bolts here. Moving its way closer to the Nashville area, about 12 miles away, so roughly 25 to 30 minutes from now. You've already got light rainfall. It's going to pick up and get heavier. Keep that in mind. Going down more to the south and the west, broken line of thunderstorms. Kingston Springs just east of Dickson down towards Centerville, and this is going to continue to pull toward the east as well. So if you're in Thompson Station, steady, consistent rainfall, but that will turn into maybe a clap or two of thunder and a real quick heavy downpour in the next hour. And then right over Mount Pleasant and Columbia, this is our cell that has the most lightning with it. A lot of lightning, but the wind has not picked up. We don't have any hail reports as of right now, so we'll keep tracking these for you about every 10 minutes to make sure you know who's next in line, and even if you're getting the lighter rainfall, what the odds of hearing some thunder and seeing some lightning might be as you get going on this Tuesday.
Greg, thank you for our forecast. 4:12 is the time. Do you want to check in now for your steer clear traffic update? Let's go near the airport. Typically a very busy place, just depending on the day. But right now, you can see a live look at I-40 Donaldson Pike. We are not seeing any kind of slowdown. There's just not a lot of people out there right now. We'll continue checking in on your traffic updates throughout 9 a.m.
Well, on this Tuesday morning, Fox 17 News has learned that a bill just passed our Tennessee House that would keep local governments from bringing back representatives after they've been expelled. Why some say this bill is targeted, others say it's needed.
And President Biden says the hostage crisis may come to a resolution.
Let a full-service expert do your taxes for you as soon as today.
Good morning and welcome back into Fox 17 News this morning. Wanted to let you know we continue to follow the breaking news southeast of Nashville. This is out near Antioch, not too far from Antioch High School, actually, where an abandoned home caught fire this morning. Look at all the first responders, though, out there. Yeah. Our photojournalist Madison Spraker is there live on the scene. Madison, thanks for the shot here. Here's what we know. This is at the intersection of Murfreesboro Pike and Laverne Couchville Pike. I mentioned it's not far from Antioch High School. Neighborhoods close by would be Hickory Woods Estates and Hickory Woods.
Yeah, so crews out there telling us that it was an abandoned home that caught fire, but we were showing you earlier they still had the hoses out there getting the fire extinguished, and it does seem as though there were no injuries, but we are asking some more questions, just, doing our due diligence out there. Absolutely. We're going to continue checking in on this breaking news situation. Even though it's an abandoned home, I'm just struck by how many crews are out there right now. We're going to get some more updates, though, throughout this newscast.
A proposal that would keep local governments from reappointing state lawmakers who get expelled due to behavior choices has now passed the Tennessee House.
This bill does come after the GOP expelled Democratic Representatives Justin Jones and Justin Pearson. That happened last April. After the expulsion, local governments quickly reappointed the two lawmakers. Representative Pearson called the proposal government out overreach, taking power from local officials. Senate Speaker Randy McNally said his chamber will see what the House does before considering any of the proposals.
President Biden says he hopes a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas can take effect by early next week. The National Security Advisor speaking here to the president. Let's listen.
My national security advisor tells me that we're close. We're close. It's not done yet. And my hope is by next Monday we'll have a ceasefire.
By the way, the president was not speaking into the ice cream cone as a microphone. He had a microphone on his lapel. Negotiators have been working toward a deal that would pause Israel's military operations to allow for the remaining hostages in Gaza to be released.
Yes, so CNN reporting an agreement will likely be implemented in multiple phases. Now, to your point, Jen, you might be asking why President Biden made the comments while visiting, like an ice cream shop.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he was in New York City with a comedian, Seth Meyers, and scheduled to sit down for an interview in the area. And that's when he was asked a campaign question, a rather serious campaign question at that.
Yeah, kind of an odd setup.
I think I would have put my ice cream down.
Yeah, definitely an odd setup there and kind of an out of place visual to go along with it. But nonetheless, that's what he had to say. And by the way, with the 2024 presidential campaign, right in the heart of it, the front runners going to the front lines in Texas.
The White House announcing yesterday that President Biden will visit Brownsville. That's happening on Thursday. Former President Donald Trump also expected to give remarks in the Eagle Pass area the same day.
Now, Mr. Trump blames President Biden for the surge during Biden's presidency. Well, President Biden says that Republicans are to blame. You know, it's the typical back and forth. Everybody's blaming everybody else for the problem. Meanwhile, Republican candidate Nikki Haley is getting ready for Super Tuesday in Michigan. The Republican primaries are happening there today. She has said that she will stay in the race and keep fighting. Now, after today's Michigan primary, the next major date for primaries and caucuses is going to be coming up on March 5th, where voters in 16 states, including Tennessee, will make their choices.
Yeah, it's a good reminder. The deadline for early voting in Tennessee's presidential primary is today, okay? There are also local elections on the ballot for some areas, just depending on where you live. So far, nearly 22,000, so we are seeing an increase here. Nearly 22,000 Nashvillians have gone ahead and voted early.
Yeah, that number was about 17,000 yesterday?
Yes.
All right, folks taking advantage. Hey, 4:19, for those of you who do get up and get out the door, or maybe you're getting off work early this morning and you're about to go home after your night shift, rain is moving in, so heads up there.
Yeah, rain moving in. We're going to keep watching it here, tracking it. About every 10 minutes or so, we get new radar scans every seven minutes, so you'll know exactly where it's at and where it's going. But right now, I want to give the big picture here when it comes to the rest of today. Scattered rain showers out there right now. You might hear a rumble or two of thunder. You were grabbing the umbrella this morning for sure. Three biggest things to know. Very warm and windy and rainy today and tomorrow. Wind advisory in effect noon today until 6 a.m. tomorrow. 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts are possible, and then an aggressive temperature swing by Thursday. All of this happens in 48 hours. Let's take a look here, piece it all together. Wind advisory, as I mentioned, for all of us, and it's going to continue to stay windy through the overnight into tomorrow morning. It is Severe Weather Awareness Week, and today's topic happens to be lightning. We have to watch out for it. No severe weather, but a lot of lightning to track through overnight. Even a few rumbles of thunder here this morning. Still all clear for code red. I'm not worried about severe weather, dangerous weather, or flooding, but storms and a big cool down here. That's in our future. Rain chances. They're only going to be here through about 8, 9 o'clock this morning, and then they die down late morning into early afternoon. It is overnight tonight into tomorrow morning that will be much more active than what we have for us here today. Future Track confirms that. 6 o'clock goes to 7, 8, 9, and 10. Nothing happening for the afternoon. It will be the overnight. And we see things go from a partly cloudy end that will be windy to today. The afternoon and evening hours stay dry. This is 1 o'clock in the morning. This is 4 a.m. by tomorrow. And then by 9 o'clock in the morning, everything tracks out. 2 back-to-back active mornings.
Alrighty, Greg, thank you very much. Steer clear traffic right now. We're going to take you over to I-40 near Church Street and show you that the construction crews are back at it this morning. We showed you this yesterday morning to kick off your Monday. Those cones are in place again this morning. This is part of some work that's going on around the state. Erica is standing by right now to tell us a little bit more about what we could see for today.
Yeah, it's a really good time to just go ahead and remind y'all, you just saw that visual there. TDOT working on I-40 in Nashville, and it does include, so please expect those rolling roadblocks that really could delay traffic. The impacted areas include the area right behind me here. So rolling roadblocks, think heading north on I-40. It's a situation that we have eyes on, and we'll be sure to update you of all the traffic scenarios.
In business headlines this morning, the Federal Trade Commission is suing to block Kroger's proposed nearly $25 billion purchase of Albertsons. I remember when the story first broke, there were a lot of questions as to whether this would be legal. The two grocery chains agreed to merge in October of 2022, saying that it would help them better compete with other big rivals like Walmart, Amazon, Costco. The FTC, though, is arguing that this merger would drive up prices by eliminating competition in the grocery industry, and it comes as, you know, food price inflation is already high, so we are currently on standby to see whether this will ever go through.
Coming up, a Fort Campbell soldier is charged in a crash that left a woman injured. How police say the events unfolded Friday night.
The Preds are...
The trucking company and the insurance company are not concerned with the victim. I was worried about being able to pay my bills. I enjoyed you representing me because I knew I had to have the best.
Just about 4:25, and we do want to bring you up to speed on the breaking news this Tuesday morning. We're taking a live look at a fire that had broke out over on Murfreesboro Pike. It all happened, though, at an abandoned house early this morning. So on your screen right now, you're going to see multiple firefighters and EMS crews responding.
This is a really busy intersection, and you know, I'm not sure. Our photojournalist, Madison Spraker, is out there. And I'm not sure, Madison, whether you can continue panning just like you're doing. Yeah, just keep going like you're doing. I guess I'm trying to get a visual for what else is at this intersection and where the house is in relation to all this. My goodness gracious.
Yeah, because the amount of crews that have shown up to this particular abandoned house makes you wonder what is going on. And then I'm also asking, where are there houses nearby? So they're really concerned about the potential of it spreading.
Yeah, I mean, they've got this entire road shut down to try to put the fire out. There goes a delivery truck. But it would appear for the most part, this entire intersection is shut down. Madison, if you're out there and if you can hear us, if you can ask a few questions to see what else might be going on here, because it seems like an oddly large response.
And to your point, Jen, another crew just pulled up in here.
Yeah, all right. So we'll let Madison ask a few questions, see what else we can find out, and we'll check back in here in just a few minutes.
In Operation Crime and Justice, though, there is a soldier stationed at Fort Campbell that is accused of driving under the influence and then causing a serious crash over the weekend.
All right, let's get to the details here. Police say the Friday night crash in Clarksville had a woman's car rear-ended by a white Jeep, which reportedly took off from the crash site. Police identified that Jeep driver as the man on your screen, 35-year-old Daniel Harmon, charged with DUI, leaving the scene of a crash, and more. The woman life-flighted to Nashville. She is currently in stable condition and at the last update.
Now we're going to sports news because the Predators, they have returned from a triumphant Western road trip and they're playing the Ottawa Senators at Bridgestone. That game happening tonight. Fans are really excited.
Yeah, and what a time to get hot, right? Here we are in the second half of the season. So the Preds swept all the games on the road. The first time in franchise history that they have hit that kind of mark. And as for tonight, the Senators are coming to our home ice after a loss to the Caps yesterday. So the Preds are going to try to take advantage of that, keep their hot streak going. Puck drops 7 o'clock tonight at Bridgestone.
Man, if I didn't have to go to bed so early,
we should go. I know, it'd be fun.
That it would, but I'm telling you right now, if you have plans this evening, you're going to stay dry, but by the time you're leaving the game, that would be a time you'd have to watch out for things. Rain on the radar right now. Moving real close to the Nashville area. We'll put a few tracks on a few of these little heavier cells. The heavier pockets of rain you pick up by looking for the yellow and orange colors on the radar. This is the most active morning we've had in a little while here across Middle Tennessee. We're going to zoom this in for you right toward Nashville. I told you about 15 minutes ago that you were a good 15 minutes away from some decent rainfall coming in the yellow colors, as I mentioned. Let's track it off toward the east, and you can see that the Brentwood area about 10 minutes. Vanderbilt, same with you. Berry Hill, 13 minutes. If this does hold together, we'll clip the Nashville area in roughly 15 to 20 minutes as well. Moving up toward the north, Ashland City, you are right into a decent little thunderstorm that has popped up here. You can tell by, again, all of the red colors that you're going to be seeing here over the course of today and tomorrow morning. Those are going to be our heavier pockets of rain. So moving off toward Jolton, you can see a little timing on that as well. I would say about 15 minutes, real quick 15-minute downpour heading your way.
Greg, thank you. Want to check back in on steer clear traffic real quick and pick back up with something Erica was telling you about. She mentioned rolling roadblocks along I-40 for some construction work today. You are going to see those rolling roadblocks starting here at I-65 at I-40. This is on the west part of the loop, kind of like if you were going to jump on 40 to go toward Bellevue or 65 to continue south. You'll notice that we've got one lane blocked coming down through here, and then once you get on I-40, this is what you're going to see at Church Street. Again, part of these rolling roadblocks for some road repairs. We'll monitor this for you and check in again on steer clear traffic in just a few minutes.
2 Pearl Cone High School students are arrested and are facing charges after allegedly bringing guns to school. Coming up in a few minutes, I'll have the details.
HVAC systems, 50% off a descaler with new tankless water heaters, or free surge protection with a new whole home generator.
Like that one too.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Good morning, 4:31 right now on Fox 17 News this morning. Trash spilling out of a homeless camp in Donaldson is spreading into creeks and woods, but one man is now on a mission to clean it up.
And a bill that just passed the House aims to keep flags other than the American flag and Tennessee flag out of classrooms. We're going to tell you why it's facing pushback.
Wake up this morning, hear rumbles of thunder and some heavier rainfall, no severe weather, but we're going to track what is out there and why it might have maybe woken you up a little bit early here on your Tuesday morning.
All right, Greg, we can hear it here in the studio. Thank you so much for waking up with us on a Tuesday morning on Fox 17 News. I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We're your live local news source through 9 a.m. And we want to get started right now with a breaking news story from overnight. In Operation Crime and Justice, we have 2 Nashville high school students who have now been arrested and charged for bringing guns to school.
Very scary situation. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar live in front of Pearl Cone High School telling us who they are. And Karen, where did this happen? Because parents are concerned.
Yeah, and it's an absolute concern considering all the shootings that have happened across the country, even one as recently as here, when Covenant School shooting that killed several. Now, the 2 students are actually 2 seniors that police say come here behind me to Pearl Cone High School. 18-year-old Ladarius Britt, who police say was found with a gun inside of the glove box of his car in the parking lot, and the other 18-year-old Mackendale Green, who they say entered this school with a loaded gun inside of his backpack. Now, the 2 were arrested on Monday, and the charges are as follows. Britt was charged with carrying a weapon on school property and theft. Green was charged with carrying a weapon on school property. Now, this all happened during a random search by school staff. Again, it's early, but I have reached out to Pearl Cone High School to get some answers. Are they planning to increase security measures after this incident to make sure that everyone here feels and stays safe? When we have those answers, we will bring them to you. Reporting live in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. We also have an update this morning from Metro Police who say a teenager is accused of shooting another teenager over in Bellevue. This was our breaking news yesterday at that gas station.
Yeah, it sure was. So we're going to tell you what we found out now. The breaking news update is that police say that 18-year-old Wyatt Morrison shot another 18-year-old during an attempted robbery right behind the old movie theater on Bell Forest Circle. Well, the 18-year-old victim drove to this Circle K and ended up going to the hospital with gunshot wounds to the shoulder and the neck. This is the Circle K at the intersection of Highway 70 and Old Hickory Boulevard. The other 18-year-old accused of pulling the trigger, Morrison, is now charged with, the charge is officially especially aggravated attempted robbery.
Now, in the high cost of homelessness, folks living near a Donaldson homeless camp say they are faced with trash that is just spilling out of the camp and then into their local waterways. A big concern for folks who we spoke with. So one man tells us he's trying to do something about the issue. He does not want to show his face, but he has been trying to clean up this camp, he says. And he also tells us that every time he tries to help, he's met with aggressive behavior.
And at that same time, we say, here's a trash bag. Could you please pick up the litter that is on the ground around you? And if you do, maybe we'll bring you some food or maybe even give you a little bit of money for that. And every time we come back and there's an empty trash bag and trash all over the ground, every time. But we haven't found one person that has taken that offer.
The man's group is now planning a community cleanup in the future. We also reached out to the Metro Council member who represents this area for any kind of comment as to if he knows about what's happening. We have not heard back, but of course, we'll be sure to update this story.
And we want to know what you think. Do you feel like homeless camps are popping up faster than the city can close them? We're talking about Nashville in particular, but we do know that this impacts communities around the mid-state. This poll is open, active, and live right now. We've already got close to 400 votes this morning, and so far, 90% of you say yes, you think they're popping up faster than Metro can close them down. You can scan the QR code right there on your screen. It'll take you directly to the link to vote in this morning's poll.
400 5, checking on your forecast here. A couple rumbles of thunder tracking through the area. A lot of this is actually dying down in real time. These were much on the stronger side here. Not anywhere close to severe, but a little bit stronger when they were more near the Tennessee River off toward the west. Now we're just seeing everything breaking up, but still hearing a few of those rumbles and a few flashes of lightning. Taking a look, Nashville, we've had a couple right near the downtown area as well. You get up though north toward Jolton, Greenbrier, Springfield. These areas are seeing the rain right overhead right now. It is moving in as we speak. Keep that in mind. These are quick movers. They'll last about 10, 15 minutes, then they're out of here. And when you look down to the south, same story for places like Brentwood in 5-6 minutes from right now. Nashville, that band moves in, and it'll move out just as quickly as it does move in. Nothing to write home about, but definitely going to leave wet pavement and absolutely slowing us down just a little bit getting on the roads. Taking a look at top of the radar, everything in southern Kentucky is pulling off toward the north and the east, away from most of us here that are waking up this morning. Taking a look, 77 degrees later on this afternoon. 58 degrees tomorrow, 28 degrees Thursday morning. We're not done yet. We're going to have this one burst of some rain for the next 2 hours, and then everything dies down another round overnight tonight, and that one will clip all of us. We'll track that for you guys coming up in about 5 minutes.
Greg, thank you. We're tracking those storms right now and steer clear traffic as well. I've got a live look for you from I-65 at Old Hickory Boulevard. Rain covering the camera lens here. So I would say this morning, if you've got to get up and out and about, that line of I-65, even I-24, you know, as they go north, south, and kind of east, west, just watch out before you head out the door. You could be running into some of those thunderstorms.
A plan to ban all flags in the classroom with the exception of Tennessee's flag and the American flag. It did pass the State House yesterday, and critics say it targets pride flags.
Yeah, supporters of the bill, though, say that, for example, the pride flag has no business in our schools, and they're trying to just keep it to the Tennessee flag and the American flag. Another issue here is whether the plan would allow the Confederate flag to be displayed. Let's listen.
Per the article that was cited in your bill, can we display the Confederate/Southern States flag?
One of those categories, of course, is a flag that is relevant to any bona fide course curriculum. So, for example, if a history class were studying the Civil War and on a projector the teacher showed a Confederate flag and a Union flag, that would be perfectly appropriate.
Well, keep in mind the Senate will now take up this issue, so there are more updates to come with this story. Coming up, the FBI informant accused of lying about President Joe Biden will have a stay in jail. What a judge has to say about the trial that's in the works.
And they might be trying to put more stuff and people into space.
Living in Brentwood at 4:15 on Wednesday.
Providing you the information needed to prepare and stay safe. Fox 17 News, your Code Red station. Alerts, empowers, protects.
Good morning and welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. It is 4:41 and waking up to some thunderstorms here this morning across the midstate. This is a live look down in Brentwood. Our TDOT traffic camera just picked up a lightning strike, so lit up the sky here. This is I-65 at Old Hickory Boulevard. Just know that the rain right now is tracking down through Brentwood, even toward Thompson Station. Might be making its way to Murfreesboro here soon. Metro Center getting some heavy rain in spots. So we're going to track it all for you because, of course, we know that rain will impact your commute. We'll tap in again in just a couple of minutes.
The longtime FBI informant accused of lying about President Biden is going to remain in jail. A judge has ordered Alexander Smyrna to remain in custody as he awaits trial.
Prosecutors say Smirnov lied about the president and his son Hunter, implicating them in a multi-million-dollar bribery scheme involving a Ukrainian energy company. Smirnov reportedly told investigators that Russian intelligence officials were involved in passing the story along. He was previously seen as a key witness in Republicans' efforts to impeach President Biden.
Let's talk about science. The FAA closing their investigation alongside SpaceX into its second Starship flight mishap.
Yeah, this all comes as the company is applying for a license to try to launch that same rocket again. The FAA says SpaceX has to make all 17 changes that they found from the November launch when the rocket had to be intentionally destroyed. So that's even less corrective action than what was previously demanded. Elon Musk expects to be ready for a third test flight coming up in March.
We're going to check in now with Greg. Some folks are seeing lightning and hearing thunder.
That we are. It's kind of been coming up and dying down in waves here over the last hour. So here's what we're looking at right now. And there are smatterings of some lightning across a good portion of Middle Tennessee. Moving into the Nashville area right now. We told you about a half hour ago, give it a half hour. And now we are in to it. And we'll talk about the metro. But if you're in Eagleville right now, light rainfall starting again. Not your first shower of the overnight into this morning. Just south of Thompson Station, right along I-65. South again of Thompson Station, moving toward the east. And if you get up toward Brentwood, things have died down a little bit in the last 5-10 minutes. But still, some pockets of some heavy rainfall up 65 into the Nashville area. And we're going to go think about 65 coming out of town from Nashville up to the north. We're going to have a nice, decent downpour that's had a history of some lightning here in about 15 minutes from right now. That'll continue to move toward the east, out toward Old Hickory. You go north of that even through Springfield. Think Gallatin, Hendersonville, going to begin to pick up a little bit here. But this is the last 3 hours. It kind of tells you what's happened. Very light green. Then it goes to yellows and oranges. Lightning fires up. It sucks out the energy from the atmosphere, and now it's kind of dying down. A little bit of a lull. We're going to keep our eyes on that radar for you every 5 to 10 minutes.
Same thing with steer clear traffic, Greg. We're going to show you I-65 and Old Hickory Boulevard. Again, you were just mentioning Brentwood, Thompson Station getting some rain, and that's what we're seeing here. Also want to show you the live look right now from I-65 at the Cumberland River Bridge. This is Metro Center, and we can see the camera lens here is wet too. Ooh. All right. Little lightning just hit the camera there. So definitely seeing those storms in Metro Center, as Greg just mentioned. The roads are wet. We can see it splashing up, rain on the lens. And yeah, definitely seeing that lightning just as you said. We'll monitor steer clear traffic. We'll get you a check in some of those spots south of Nashville again in just a few minutes.
Coming up, after security cameras malfunction and show the inside of people's homes, there are now big concerns for families. So we're taking a deeper dive here on Fox 17 News.
Oh, no, and no. Anna might be a lovely place, but the Hotel California creating trouble amid claims.
Weather threatens, warning you up to 3 days in advance.
So, when we call a code red weather alert,
No, we're providing you with the information needed to prepare and stay safe.
A trial date has been set in the manslaughter case against Alec Baldwin for his role in the deadly 2021 Rust film set shooting.
Erica and I were talking about this before the newscast this morning. Hard to believe this is still
going on.
A continuing story, but here we are, jury selection set to start this summer in July in New Mexico and expected to last approximately a week. Cinematographer Helena Hutchins was hit by a live round fired from a prop gun that Alec Baldwin was holding.
Well, Baldwin is now charged with involuntary manslaughter, and this does come as the manslaughter trial against Rust armorer Hannah Gutierrez Reed continues into the 4th day. So more updates about this to come.
Wow. All right, as so many people continue to rely on video security systems around their property to keep their families safe, you have to know that with technology sometimes comes issues, and unfortunately there was a glitch that allowed people to see footage from inside other houses, and that is raising all kinds of security and privacy concerns.
Michael Yoshida has this disturbing story.
Smart camera maker Wyze is blaming a technical glitch for a security issue that allowed about 13,000 customers to see images and video from inside other people's homes last week.
I work in this space, so I'm not all that surprised.
Wyze says customers saw thumbnails from other users' homes in the company's app. 1,500 of them tapped to enlarge the thumbnails, allowing some customers to watch footage from other people's cameras. Rob Gabriel, a home security expert for SafeHome.org, says while it may be convenient to access wireless security cameras remotely through our devices, that ease and comfort comes with a cost.
Our privacy risk is almost like a tax that we pay for the convenience of being connected to the internet and, the Internet of Things.
Gabriel says companies have the responsibility to make sure they keep improving their security protocols. There are also simple steps you can take to minimize your risk. First, check the company's track record. Second, only put cameras in living rooms, hallways, and near doors, not in bathrooms or bedrooms. That way, if someone accessed your home security camera, they won't capture your most intimate moments. Gabriel also recommends cameras with privacy shutters.
It's an actual physical shutter that you can hear click on and off, so that the camera is not viewing you when you don't want it to be.
Wyze says more than 99.75% of all accounts were unaffected by the security issue. And the company says it has added a new layer of verification before users can see thumbnails and videos to prevent this from happening again. I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
Ooh, very scary. All right, science and technology news. The Odysseus that we told you about, the moon lander, is expected to stop communicating with Earth today, and that was not the plan.
Intuitive Machines that built this thing says that it was intended to get some information until the solar panels were no longer exposed to light, and they do think that'll happen sometime today. It's a little earlier than what they expected. This is after that lander was tipped over on its side after it landed on the moon. So yeah, it did send back some data.
Okay, Odie.
Come on, Odie. Just not quite as much as Lafayette.
That's the nickname for Odysseus. In case you missed that story, they call it Odie. Right now, though, we're checking in because we got lightning, thunder, a lot going on, and folks may not be expecting that.
Yeah, most active morning in a while here. It's nothing really serious. If you're starting to hear thunder and it gets really loud and you get those flashes of lightning, we're not talking about severe weather, but it's going to slow you down getting out the door. And once the rain moves out, then we're talking wet pavement for the rest of the morning. Here's a look at Doppler radar, and pretty much going all the way north to the Kentucky state line, all the way down south toward the Alabama state line, right along the I-65 corridor is where all this rain is beginning to move into and tracking right along at the moment. We're going to zoom it in here, and where's it heading next? This broken line of showers everywhere from Nashville down through Brentwood and Franklin. It was a much stronger and heavier rainfall about 15 minutes ago. Now we're back to lighter greens. This pulling off to the north and the east. Mount Juliet, 5 minutes, you're back into your third round of rain so far this morning. Smyrna, excuse me, you'll be getting the rain too. Murfreesboro, lighter rainfall. If this holds together off to the southwest, we're talking some thunder and lightning possible in Murfreesboro in about 20 minutes from right now. This is our most well put together area of some rain. We've got Ashland City. You cleared out for a little bit. Get ready. You're not done. Maybe you hop outside real fast, let the dog out and get back in. That's kind of the thing you have to do this morning because we have a thunderstorm moving in. Now, is it going to last long? No, but in 15 minutes, you're going to get about 15 minutes worth of pretty heavy rain and quite a bit of thunder and lightning. Greenbrier, right over you. Springfield exiting in about 10 minutes. Joelton, right over you. Exiting in about 10 minutes. This is how we're going to be throughout the morning. Small little cells they're kind of breathing as they go across the radar, where you go from getting thunder and then light rain, and then thunder as it kind of moves through the atmosphere and takes what it can to work with. But you can see wind speed increasing throughout the day, wind gusts increasing throughout the day. Wind is part 2, thunderstorms overnight. That's part 3. We're going to look at those coming up in a few minutes.
Okay, Greg, thank you. Let's take a live look, though, at the highways and see how it's shaping up in the areas that you were just talking about. So this is going to be south near Thompson Station, I-440, I-65 junction. The camera is acting a little funky out there, freezing up a little bit, but you can see it is already getting slick out there on the highways. So like Greg was saying, just give yourself some extra time as those showers go on because we know it can cause a backup. It can lead to some accidents. But right now, I-440, I-65 junction, this area is looking good. We are giving you the green light.
Eagles, you know, the band, the Eagles, their co-founder, Don Henley, taking center stage right now at the Hotel California lyrics trial. Did you even know this was going on? If you're a big Eagles fan, you probably did, but fascinating here. Don Henley, who showed up at a Manhattan court just yesterday, is expected to testify in the trial of 3 men who he claims stole handwritten draft lyrics to Hotel California and other big Eagles hits.
Wow, the 3 defendants are also seen right here arriving in court. They're accused of conspiring, to own and try and sell the Eagles manuscripts. So the disputed pages do include lyrics to the song Hotel California and New Kid in Town. Henley reported them stolen after some of the defendants allegedly began listing them for auction back in 2012. Yeah, all 3 men have now pleaded not guilty to the charges, including conspiracy to criminally possess stolen property.
Wow. All right, big story coming up here in moments. A mid-state professor wins a grant studying why breast cancer could be harder to survive for some women. The differences she's finding.
And a surprise from this bear right here. Yeah, squeezing through a house. You can do it.
So you wake refreshed for a more productive day. Get 24-hour continuous relief that does not fade. Be wise all, take Zysol at night.
4:56 is the time. Do you want to take a live look showing you the current conditions here in Metro Center? Listen, the rain is starting to come down. We heard some lightning Well, let me say this. We saw some lightning. We heard some thunder. I'm going to get it right. Just be mindful that, yes, we are seeing those current conditions. And there it was. I saw the lightning right there off in the distance. Greg is going to have your full forecast and tell you how long it's going to continue. And not just this morning. We're also tracking possible showers this evening and tomorrow morning as well.
Yeah, a lot's starting to fire up here on your Tuesday. We're live through 9 to keep you posted. Right now, in health news, we have a UT health professor who is getting $1.5 million to study disparities in breast cancer survival among African-American women and white women.
Well, health economics professor right here, Sheely White, means we'll look at the root causes leading to health disparities. She is pointing to culprits like food insecurity, limited access to healthcare providers, limited jobs, and economic stability as some extra hurdles for black women. Now, she says she also hopes to find strategies to change outcomes for black women diagnosed with breast cancer.
Switching gears this morning, wildlife experts are telling people to be very vigilant.
Okay.
For active bear dens this upcoming spring. And this does apply especially as you get out toward the Great Smoky Mountains. In fact, the North Carolina Wildlife Resource Commission posting this video of a black bear squeezing out of the vent of a home.
What?
With a reminder for people to stay calm, and back away if you see something like this in the next several weeks. Okay, according to researchers, it is not uncommon for bears to set up their dens in hollowed out trees, crawl spaces of a home, underneath your decks.
Respectfully, if this comes out of my home,
look at that big
I'm not
booty.
Going to
look
stay
at
calm.
that big booty. Did you see how big that bear is crawling out of that tiny vent?
You stop.
Oh my gosh. How in the world did that thing squeeze through there?
Oh,
okay.
But stay calm.
Stay calm.
Stay calm.
And
okay.
Please get video from a safe distance.
Wow.
I'm sorry, I could not believe that thing. Oh my gosh.
It's like me trying to put on pants the day after Thanksgiving. Just
right.
Taking a look here on the radar. We've got rain that is still tracking right along the 65 corridor now, moving a little bit more toward the east of it. Let's zoom in on a few areas where we're still seeing some thunder and lightning, and we have seen reports of that. You get out toward the White House area, you think 65 coming into Nashville from the White House area. You're going to go through some pretty heavy rainfall. We have some cracks of some lightning that are happening right now. The yellows and oranges showing us the heavier rainfall. Good morning if you're waking up with us in Hendersonville. You're going to go through another batch of rain that right now is right over the Madison area. Madison, it'll be done in about 10 minutes, and then you're going to get another batch that'll move in later. That's how we're going to go. Smyrna. This thunderstorm right here, a weak one, but they're all weak. That's good news for us here. About 24 minutes away, about 10 miles away from you, you'll start seeing lightning well before you actually have any rain over you with a lot of these thunderstorms because they're very tall. Lightning can be seen a good 10, 15 miles away from a storm, so keep that in mind. What's new this morning? Well, the rain coming down right now, very warm in the 50s, windy, wind gusts up near 40 miles per hour later on this afternoon, and then another round of thunderstorms overnight tonight.
All right, Greg, hey, as you track the storms, we're going to track them along with you and steer clear traffic. So I want to show you a couple of shots. We just saw some lightning lighting up the sky in White House. This is I-65, just north of Long Hollow Pike. So to Greg's point, yes, we've got look at it on the interstate here. Heavy rain and lightning and thunder moving from west to east, from west of I-65 heading toward the east. So White House, Portland, I would even say places like Westmoreland, heads up for you as we track the storms north of town. This is I-24 at Old Hickory Boulevard on the southeast side of town. Also right now in the track of the rain that is moving through. So overall turning into a very wet commute. We know sometimes that can spell trouble. So we've got our eyes to the roads for you with more live updates starting now in our 5 o'clock hour.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Good morning. A lot going on in the weather world this morning. If you're waking up anywhere near Nashville or right along I-65, you've been hearing the thunder, you've been seeing the lightning. This is round one. We have more tonight, and the wind picks up between now and then. A lot to get to in your Code Red forecast.
All right, Greg. Also ahead on Fox 17 News this Tuesday morning, as school choice stays in the spotlight, things are heating up as Democrats say the education commissioner is not qualified for her job. Their reasoning.
2 high school students are facing charges after being accused of bringing guns to school. Coming up, I'll have the details.
Thank you so much for waking up with us here bright and early. 5:01 is the time on Fox 17 News this Tuesday morning. I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We are glad to be your live local news source through 9 a.m. Let's get started right now with breaking news that we've been following from overnight. Metro Police now say a man has died in a shooting that happened right near Fisk University in Nashville. Metro Dispatch confirmed it happened around 10 o'clock last night at 16th Avenue near Herman Street. We do know that someone is in custody. Still no word yet on who that is or the identity of the victim, but we'll keep you updated on air and online at fox17.com.
We're also sharing the top stories you should keep in mind this Tuesday morning before heading out the door, and that includes President Joe Biden, who is hoping for a ceasefire for the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict in Gaza, saying last night that a deal could come by next Monday. The Biden administration says some issues preventing a ceasefire have been worked out, including Hamas no longer insisting on a full withdrawal of Israeli forces and an end to the war.
Another big story we'll be tracking today. It is primary day in Michigan. We have Nikki Haley and former President Donald Trump on the ballot there in Michigan as they are trying to get the Republican nomination. Nikki Haley coming off of a loss in her home state of South Carolina.
And more international headlines. Sweden clears the final hurdle to join NATO. Hungary's parliament voting overwhelmingly yesterday to go ahead and ratify Sweden's bid to join the alliance, ending more than 18 months of delays. By the way, it is the last of NATO's 31 members to give its backing since Turkey ratified the request. That happened just last month. At 5:02, we do want to bring you up to speed with our radar tracking those thunderstorms.
Yes, very active morning here. This is one area we've been watching pretty carefully already. Not that I'm worried about any damaging wind or any hail, but we've had a lot of lightning so far this morning. It's been picked up on a lot of our cameras, and right now, if you're in the White House area, you are rumbling here. Same with Greenbrier, Springfield. You're going to get a break soon. Rain is tapering off. You're still going to hear the thunder, but it's moving away from you. The lightning strikes moving away, I want to stress. Taking a look at the big picture, though, I'm going to clear this off for you and just take a look at all the other areas. If you are just to the north of Nashville, say, there's a nice little thunderstorm complex here that will eventually be cutting across 65 and making its way kind of toward the Old Hickory area in about 20 minutes. So right now, that is off toward the west. If you think exiting Ashland City, going toward Bordeaux, south of the Joelton area, this is not, again, going to clip all of necessarily everyone I named. That's the trajectory we're in right there on your screen. Hendersonville, some decent rainfall coming down as well. If we go south of Nashville, right along 65, Columbia, you are getting the rain coming down in droves right now, and this will continue to move toward the east and cut through 65 as well. Continuing more toward the east, things dying down, but moving toward, I'd say, the I-24 corridor, kind of like splitting Murfreesboro up through Smyrna and eventually picking its way back up through Laverne as well.
Alrighty, Greg, good stuff. So I'm listening to you and watching your radar. Let's take you north of Nashville, where you were just talking about storms that are moving through. We've got a live look, I-65 at Vietnam Veterans Boulevard. This is in between Madison and Hendersonville, as you were just tracking storms moving in this direction. And yeah, we can see absolutely the rain has come through here already. Not detecting any lightning in this live look right now, but just know, for those of you who are north of Nashville, you are going to have a rainy commute. And let's go even farther north now. Let's go up I-65 toward White House. We have seen a lot of lightning activity in this live camera. Very rainy, lots of ponding. We can see the water kicking up. There's a little bit more lightning right there. This is I-65 at Long Hollow. So we'll continue to monitor how the weather is impacting your traffic with live looks every few minutes.
5:05 is the time. The search continues for a 15-year-old with autism who has been missing for more than a day now. The TBI putting out an endangered child alert for Sebastian Rogers. So please stop what you're doing and just take a look at this photo.
So much concern in Hendersonville. This is the community right around Beach High School. In fact, we understand that first responders set up their command post right there along Long Hollow Pike near Beach High School. So if you are seeing a lot of law enforcement groups with flashlights, even choppers up above, that is all part of the search effort for this missing 15-year-old. This is near Long Hollow and Stafford Court, as I mentioned, right by Beach High School. The last time anyone saw Sebastian, he was wearing all black. He might be hiding somewhere, perhaps in a garage, think in a shed, under a deck. And so neighbors there are leaving no stone unturned trying to find him. If you have any information that can help these crews, call 1-800-TBI-FIND.
In Operation Crime and Justice now, 2 seniors at a Nashville high school, they've been arrested for allegedly bringing guns to school. Very scary here.
Fox 17 News reporter Karen Aguilar joining us live right now in front of Pearl Cone High School to tell us about these 2 young men and the charges they're facing.
Good morning. Well, police say the 2 students are seniors that come here to Pearl Cone High School. Police say that 18-year-old Mackendale Green entered through these doors with a backpack and a loaded gun inside. The other suspect, 18-year-old Ladarius Britt, also had a loaded gun, and it was found inside the glove box of his car. Police say they were arrested just yesterday. Green was charged with carrying a weapon on school property, and Britt was charged with carrying a weapon on school property and theft. Now, this is a very scary thought considering all the shootings that have happened across the country and even right here in Nashville with a Covenant School shooting that happened in 2023. I reached out to the Pearl Cone High School's principal and other administration to find out if they plan to increase security measures to help students and parents feel safe. When we get those answers, we'll bring them to you. Reporting live in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, Karen, thank you very much. Crisis in the classroom right now. The House version of the school choice bill we've been telling you about has now been officially filed, and the state education commissioner finding herself in the hot seat under attack from Democrats who claim she's not a Tennessee resident. So let's get into the background here. We have Representative Scott Sapicki, who is the chair of the Education Instruction Subcommittee. He says the House version of this voucher bill focuses on educational reform with less testing and trying to streamline teacher evaluations. But Representative Caleb Hemmer claims the Tennessee Education Commissioner, Lizette Reynolds, who is a part of, pushing forward this voucher program, is not legally qualified for her position. Hemmer claims she has no teacher's license and is not a resident of Tennessee. The program, he argues against giving taxpayer money to private schools.
And by the way, the House subcommittee does meet later today to walk through this bill, and they may vote on it as well. So we'll certainly have some more updates both on air and online. Fox17.com for those updates.
Years after a deadly shooting, police tracked down the man who they say may be responsible. More on the case and other. Good morning and welcome back into Fox 17 News this morning. Time right now 5:11. In Operation Crime and Justice, we have a man behind bars after a shooting that left 1 man dead. This happened in September of 2022. So a bit of a cold case here, but an update as Metro Police have arrested this man. 42-year-old Jermaine Jenkins, now in custody, accused of killing 43-year-old Christopher Gooddale on Trinity Lane. Again, this was in 2022. Gooddale found in a gas station parking lot. 2 other people also arrested in connection to the getaway car used in that crime.
Meanwhile, 5 people are facing serious charges as Metro Police cracks down on street racing, a big issue that we have covered here. And these folks on your screen right now, Amicar Mia, Catalan Rodriguez, and Pablo Rodolfo, Leandra Bailey, and an unidentified 17-year-old facing several charges. Police say the group performed dangerous stunts in South Nashville during an illegal meetup. If you want to read more about this street racing crackdown, go to fox17.com.
5:12 your time, taking a look really quickly at the radar because a few spots have flared up pretty quickly, and even just the last 5-6 minutes we've gone from a decent downpour to firing off some lightning. So here's the last hour, and we're going to put this now a little more zoomed in toward the Columbia area where the rain has moved in. That blue arrow indicating the trajectory of where this is going. And this is going to continue to move toward the east and clip 65. It will eventually end up clipping I-24 as well. Look at north of Nashville where we have the purple showing up here on the radar. This telling us right now that we have very heavy rainfall. We may even in, have some small size hail coming down. If you get north of Nashville, right along 65, this is going to continue to track toward the north and the east. Old Hickory within a half hour. That's how quick we're moving with this, again, to the north of the Nashville area. Madison, you'd be in the path of this as well in about 20 to 25 minutes. Another look at your radar in less than 6 minutes from right now. We'll continue to watch these two storms and anything else that pops up in the meantime.
All righty, Greg, let's go north to that area you just mentioned where you were seeing some purple shades on the radar and potential hail. This is our camera at I-65 at Long Hollow, and yeah, we can see a lot of heavy rain has been falling here. This is also where we've been seeing a lot of lightning strikes. So please be careful if you're waking up this morning north of Nashville and you do have to jump on I-65. This is a live look from Vietnam Veterans Boulevard right now where you can see the rain has come down here as well, kicking up as folks come in toward Nashville from Hendersonville and Gallatin. No crashes. That's the great news. Listen, steer clear traffic. You know, for us to have this kind of weather right now, which is typically a high impact, we really don't have an impact to the roads. No crashes, no delays. Your drive times are actually all in the green right now.
After the break, a bill passed the Tennessee House that would keep local governments from bringing representatives back after they were expelled. We're going to tell you why some say this bill is targeted.
And President Biden.
To make them feel right at home. Ritz, a taste of welcome.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Eurostone.
5:16 is the time. Right now, we do want to show you some live looks of the Nashville skyline. This is Nissan Stadium, and be mindful because we are tracking thunder and lightning and storms. It really just depends on your area. And you can see right here, yeah, the camera went out for a second. Greg is going to have your full forecast and tell you how much longer we can expect the showers to be sticking around this morning. It could impact your commute, so that's why we're tracking all of this. Yeah, another bolt of lightning there. Ooh, another one. I mean, there we go. Some
wow.
more. Wow, it is really hitting the metro area right now.
And by the way, if we can just hang on this for just a second, I know the music's probably going to play us out, but this is looking toward the east, where we are watching storms kind of march from west toward the east. Great shot
that
here.
Camera too. We do have a high wind advisory that's also in effect this morning.
Okay, all right, lots to get to, including this story right now, sparking debate in Tennessee and the proposal that would keep local governments from reappointing state lawmakers who get expelled. This is now passed the Tennessee House, and if you're thinking, why does this sound familiar? This has come up as a result of what we saw last year and the unruly behavior, I guess you could say, within the chambers.
Yeah, that's when we expelled Democratic Representative Justin Jones and Justin Pearson. That happened last April. And after the expulsion, local governments quickly reappointed those two lawmakers. Well, Representative Pearson called the proposal, quote, government overreach, taking power, he says, from local officials. Senate Speaker Randy McNally, though, said his chamber will see what the House does before considering any of those proposals.
All right, headlines this morning from our nation's capital. President Biden says he hopes a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas could take effect by next week. Let's listen.
My national security advisor tells me that we're close. We're close. It's not done yet. And my hope is by next Monday, we'll have a ceasefire.
All right, I feel like we need to address what we were seeing there. That was the president holding an ice cream cone. He was not using it as a microphone, although it might have appeared that way. We'll explain why that looked that way in a moment. But first of all, just know that negotiators have been working toward a deal that would pause Israel's military operations to allow for the remaining hostages in Gaza to be released. CNN reports an agreement would be implemented in phases, though.
All right, so back to your main point.
Yeah.
About the ice cream holding. You might be wondering, why was the president holding ice cream and making comments? Well, he was visiting an ice cream shop. He was over in New York City with a comedian, Seth Meyers. They were scheduled for a sit down, and that's when someone, you know, asked a question, because that's what we do when we see presidents, right? We ask questions.
Sure.
And some would say it was poor timing.
Timing, odd visuals, right? Should somebody have taken the ice cream down? Anyhow, I'm sure you'll see that making the rounds today on your social media feeds. Right now, let's get into your voice at your vote. The deadline for early voting here in Tennessee's presidential primary is today.
There are also local elections on the ballot for some areas. So far, nearly 22,000 Nashvillians have said, I'm going to go ahead and vote early. Knock it out.
Knock it out. Hopefully our power doesn't get knocked out. I know we've seen some lightning strikes in and around Nashville this morning, and kind of moving in all different directions, from like far northwest down to the northeast.
Yeah, we're seeing this kind of really broken pattern, you can call it that, where all these little thunderstorm cells, they're weak, but they're all feeding on each other. So when one ends, you get a little break, and then the next one starts to pop up right behind it. So here's the picture. It is all very broken. It's not well organized, to say the least. Let's take a look. This is where I'm kind of watching most concerned this morning. There are a few areas here. One is still to the north of Nashville. You move into the Mount Juliet, Hermitage area, going right along just north of I-40, really. Kind of splitting Old Hickory and then moving out toward the east, toward Mount Juliet. North of there, this is moving directly to the right, or to the southeast almost here, just north of the Donaldson area. But Hermitage, you are getting a lot of heavy rainfall right now. The purples indicate that. Also seeing a lot of lightning in this area. Another area of concern we're watching is just down to the south. Blue arrow indicating that we're getting just east of the 65 corridor. Now, we have got a long ways to go until this gets to I-24, maybe say even gets into Rutherford County, but we're going to keep our eyes on it, because if this does hold together, that could end up being a place that we have to watch as well. Two things of note. One, lighter rain for the first time this morning moving into the Manchester, Tullahoma, Winchester, and McMinnville areas. Plateau, haven't really seen much of anything other than a sprinkle so far this morning. One other thing to show is that off to the north and to the west, Clarksville, down through Dickson, Camden. These are areas that had the storms move through about 2 hours ago. This is a sign of things to come. When this initial band of rain moves through, these thunderstorms, everything becomes very light and isolated in nature, even as soon as an hour from now in the Nashville area. But as of right now, heading out, those are the areas where a lot of thunder and lightning are really working us through this morning. Also, the wind is picking up. We have a wind advisory in effect from noon today until 6 p.m. tomorrow, or I should say 6 a.m. tomorrow. So we have about an 18-hour window of up to 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts that we have to contend with, on top of everything else. Wet pavement downtown, Lower Broadway, just missing that heavier rain that is off to the north, and then also taking a look at some other areas around town that have been seeing a lot of lightning strikes. You just saw one right there in the background. So we knew going into today our rain would pick up for the morning, and then it's going to die down for the afternoon. Look at future track. We have 5 a.m. taking us into the afternoon. Here's 6 a.m. and then, like I mentioned, in about 2 hours, everything will get better for the afternoon. Fairly overcast, a high of 77 degrees. With temperatures that are like that, you have to know that when you get to the overnight hours and cold air starts to rush in, that we have to take things very carefully through the overnight. We go midnight through 4 a.m. As you're waking up with us tomorrow morning at the exact same time, we'll be looking at thunderstorms tracking in once again. So just keep that in mind for you here. Once this one is done this morning, you get a break for the afternoon, and then more storms overnight tonight that cannot be ruled out. So weather could be an impact at the start of our day.
All righty, Greg, thank you very much. Interesting set of circumstances here in steer clear traffic. I'm going to begin with a live look to show you that system that is still coming down north of Nashville. This is I-65 at Long Hollow Pike. So talking to you this morning, if you are in White House, if you are in Portland, if you're in Hendersonville, Gallatin, you are going to be seeing the impact of these systems as they move through. Now, Greg, I was also trying to pull up some cameras out near Mount Juliet to show you the storm out there. This is the best I can do, and it's not a great view. Several cameras along I-40 east of Nashville are currently down. Not sure whether that's storm related, but this is the best view that we've got right now from I-40 at I-840. We'll check back in just a few minutes.
Coming up, a Fort Campbell soldier is charged in a crash that left a woman injured. How police say events unfolded Friday night. And the Predators are returning from a 5-game.
We have a huge inventory for all your vehicle needs. We've got a huge service department with 40 bays, quick lane bays, and a whole other set of service areas.
That's Batesford 11 in Tennessee, where we'll trade for anything it don't eat.
In Operation Crime and Justice, a soldier stationed over at Fort Campbell is accused of driving under the influence and causing a serious crash. It happened over the weekend on Friday. Police say, yes, Friday night, a crash in Clarksville means that a woman was rear-ended by a white Jeep, which reportedly took off. Police identified the driver of that Jeep as 35-year-old Daniel Harmon, and he is now charged with DUI and leaving the scene of an accident and some more serious charges. That woman was life-flighted to Nashville. She is currently in stable condition at last check. Switching gears here and talking about sports, the Predators, they have returned from a triumphant Western road trip and they're playing the Ottawa Senators tonight at Bridgestone. The Preds swept all 5 games on the road, and listen, that is the first time in franchise history they have hit that marker, so congrats. As for tonight, the Senators are hitting the ice after a 3-6 loss to the Washington Capitals just yesterday. The Preds will certainly try to keep their winning streak. The puck, by the way, does drop 7 o'clock at Bridgestone. Let's check in now. A lot to get to weather-wise this Tuesday.
Plenty to get to. I'm going to get to one thing that we haven't really touched on much so far this morning is just where do we go from here? We're going to continue to track on the radar as soon as we go into our 5:30 half hour everywhere the rain is at and where we're moving through with it. But thunderstorms, they're very small, but they're giving us a lot of lightning here this morning in areas along I-65 now. I would say I-40 east of the Nashville area. So moving away from Nashville, but say you're coming into town, and that is your typical main road. You're taking the shoot on into Nashville, you're going to definitely see a lot of lightning and get some heavier rainfall. 7-day forecast, 77 degrees this afternoon. Very, very warm. The afternoon and evening will be dry, but overnight tonight, a cold front rushes in. That is going to bring in more thunderstorm activity overnight into tomorrow morning. I would say midnight through around 7 a.m. is our window of opportunity, and that even could pack a punch in portions of southern Kentucky, but not expecting widespread severe weather anywhere across Middle Tennessee.
Greg, thank you so much. And we know weather always plays a big factor when we talk about traffic. So let's quickly check in with your Steer Clear traffic update. We are showing you a live look at Vietnam Veterans Boulevard. This is New Shackle Island Road. Okay, this is Hendersonville. You can see the camera. There are showers on there. That's because, as Greg mentioned, the showers are coming down. Right now, though, we're not seeing any crashes or slowdowns in this particular point. We do know, though, that all the TDOT cameras that are east of the airport, they're down right now. Not sure why that's the case. We'll continue checking in on your Steer Clear traffic updates, though, throughout 9 a.m.
Police are accusing 2 high school students of bringing loaded guns to school. Coming up, I'll have the latest updates.
And a teenager charged for the shooting of another teenager.
And stay safe. Fox 17 News, your Code Red station. Alerts, empowers, protects.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Electronic Express. We make it happen. You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Good morning. We're waking up here to a lightning show across a large portion of Middle Tennessee and southern Kentucky. No severe weather, but we've got heavy downpours. We're tracking on how that could even just slow you down getting out the door coming up in your forecast.
Yeah, a lot to get to, including this story on Fox 17 News. Trash generated by a homeless camp in Donaldson spreading into the creeks and woods. We're going to explain how one man is trying to clean it up, but it's getting mixed results.
And we have lawmakers in Tennessee just passing a bill that would keep certain flags out of our children's classrooms. Anything other than the American flag and the Tennessee flag. We'll tell you the latest as it moves through our legislature.
At just about 5:32, do want to start by thanking you for waking up with us here on a busy Tuesday morning. I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. Glad to be here for you live through 9. And we've got an update now in Steer Clear traffic and our Code Red weather with Greg Bobus tracking those storms.
Yeah, this is one of those mornings where the weather and traffic department become one with each other because what's happening out there right now could directly impact your morning. Now, maybe you were woken up overnight or you're waking up right now to thunder, lightning, and a lot of rain. First thing I want to tell you out of the gate, it's nothing to worry about. No severe weather, but definitely could be a little startling to the system because the sun's not up yet. So no severe weather on the map. I don't expect any this morning. These are just run-of-the-mill, spring, almost summer-like thunderstorms given how warm we are outside. Now let's dive into what we're seeing here. We can see an area right now. We're watching very carefully because we're having a hard time even getting a camera that works along I-40 because how much lightning we have seen. I don't know if that's the indicator of why, but if you are going I-40 into town, into Nashville, if you're just east of the Mount Juliet area and you're going in that direction, you're going to pick up a lot of this rainfall. Good news is maybe say you are waking up in Hermitage, Mount Juliet. The rain has died down. This is not going to be an all-day event. By about 8, 9 o'clock, the rain is done. Then the wind takes over. Wind advisory in effect from noon until 6 a.m. tomorrow. Wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour. We're in the 50s right now. We'll be in the 70s later on this afternoon. And then tonight, we'll be tracking another round of thunderstorms coming up in your Code Red forecast.
Greg, thank you. We're doing our best to get you a view and steer clear traffic east of the airport, where you are tracking some pretty heavy storms right now. This is the best we've got. This is the one and only camera that's operating for TDOT east of the airport right now, and this is I-40 and I-840. Quality's not the best, but just know that heavy rain in this area, as you said, Greg. We were picking up a few lightning strikes in this view as well. The good news is, even with all of these storms right now, we are still crash free on our interstates, which is such a blessing. I mean, you know, we tend to see things really stack up when we get bad weather like this, but so far so good. We'll let you know just as soon as that changes.
Right now in Operation Crime and Justice, 2 seniors at a Nashville high school have been arrested for allegedly bringing guns to school.
Scary situation for families, for teachers and administrators. We have Fox 17 News reporter Karen Aguilar joining us live this morning right in front of Pearl Cone, where it all went down.
Good morning. Yeah, those 2 seniors have been spending most of their time walking through these doors at Pearl Cone High School, going to classes, but now they may be spending a part of this year in jail. Police are accusing them of bringing fully loaded guns to school. Just yesterday, police arrested 18-year-old Ladarius Britt and 18-year-old Mackendale Green. Police say Britt had a gun in his car when school staff searched the parking lot. The gun came back as stolen. He was charged with carrying a weapon on school property and theft. Green had a gun in his backpack. He told police he brought it to school for protection. He was charged with carrying a weapon on school property. It's a frightening thought for students and other parents, considering all the school shootings that have been going on across the country, and even right here in Nashville with the Covenant School shooting. I reached out to the Pearl Cone High School for some answers on if they're planning to increase security measures. I also asked if they plan to expel the 2 seniors. We're waiting to hear back. When we have those answers, we'll bring them to you. Reporting live in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. We also have an update from yesterday's breaking news involving a shooting over in Bellevue. Police now telling us that 18-year-old Wyatt Morrison shot the 18-year-old victim during an attempted robbery. It happened behind an old movie theater on Bell Forest Circle.
Very busy and popular part of Bellevue, right at Highway 70 and Old Hickory Boulevard. Police say that the victim drove to a gas station, the Circle K, right at that intersection, and ended up going to the hospital with gunshot wounds to the shoulder and the neck. Morrison, who Erica just mentioned, is facing charges of especially aggravated attempted robbery. Now to the high cost of homelessness. People living near a Donaldson homeless camp tell Fox 17 News they are fed up, and they're faced with trash that is now spilling out of the camp and into their local waterways.
So Fox 17 News, excuse me, going there and asking some questions, getting this video for you, letting us know that one man is trying to do something about this issue. He does not want to show his face, but he's been trying to clean up the camp for a long time, he says. And he tries everything, he says, to help, but sometimes he's met with aggressive behavior. Listen here.
And at that same time, we say, here's a trash bag. Could you please pick up the litter that is on the ground around you? And if you do, maybe we'll bring you some food, or maybe even give you a little bit of money for that. And every time we come back and there's an empty trash bag and trash all over the ground. Every time. But we haven't found one person that has taken that offer.
That's interesting. All right, so they're trying to incentivize people to just kind of clean up their own area with no luck. This man's group, though, still planning to keep working. They are organizing a community cleanup in the future. We'll let you know when that happens. And in the meantime, we also reached out to the Metro Council member for this part of town. So far, we have not heard back, but we won't give up. We will continue to bring you these stories and the high cost of homelessness.
Making headlines, and just ahead, the FBI informant accused of lying about President Biden will have to stay in jail. We're going to tell you what a judge has to say as a
Factory Direct Pool and Spa Sale at Family Leisure. Deep discounts on all pools and spas. Don't miss out.
Injured? Call America's largest injury law firm, Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Good morning and welcome back into Fox 17 News this morning. Time right now, 5:40. The longtime FBI informant who is accused of lying about President Biden will remain in jail. The judge has ordered Alexander Smirnov to stay in custody as he awaits trial. Prosecutors say Smirnov lied about the president and Hunter Biden, implicating them in a big bribery scheme involving a Ukrainian energy company. Smirnov reportedly told investigators that Russian intelligence officials were involved in passing along the story. Now, he was previously seen as a key witness in Republicans' efforts to impeach President Biden. New this morning, the FAA has now closed its investigation into SpaceX and its second Starship flight and the mishap there. The company applying for a license to try to launch the rocket again. The FAA says SpaceX has to make a bunch of changes before they can do another launch. We know that the rocket that they tried to launch most recently had to be intentionally destroyed because of all kinds of problems. So it looks like they're going to try to do this again. Elon Musk has said that they are dedicated to making sure they have made changes, and they're looking for another test flight coming up in mid-March. Right now here at home, the weather is the big story of the morning. We've had some pretty good thunderstorms popping up across the mid-state. Greg's tracking it all for you live.
Yeah, Jen, more of a lightning show than anything else. A lot of thunder rolling through overnight. No severe weather, but quick bursts of heavy downpours and some decent lightning that has been lighting up all over Middle Tennessee. We're going to be done with this in the next hour or two. This is not code red weather. This should just be aware of where you're driving around town because it may slow you down. One of those areas. I've got a line drawn right over I-40. So say, now the storm is moving in the direction of the arrow, but say you're waking up in Forktown or Lebanon. You're going to hop on 40, try to head toward Nashville. You're going to get a good 15, 20 minutes of consistent, steady rainfall and even a clap or two of some thunder and lightning. This is tracking off toward the east, so this will continue its trajectory. There you go. Whenever you see the radar jump like that, too, we get updates on the radar every 5 to 7 minutes. It has to do a complete circle, a full scan of the entire viewing area, and get all this data before it gives it back to us. That's why you see the radar jump sometimes. Taking a look up here, doing two things for you. Show you the heart of where this is at. Flat Rock down through Mitchellville, down through Portland. Purple showing up. Very heavy rainfall. You move a little bit more toward the north, and you see this moving just to the south of Franklin, Kentucky. And what I'm going to do now is click the button one more time. This is why we're showing you this area of emphasis. Lightning has picked up considerably in the last half hour in this area. So even though it's not a severe thunderstorm, just in this camera view, in the last 10 minutes, 65 lightning strikes have made their way up through the night sky here, waking you up very early on this Tuesday morning.
Okay, Greg, yeah, we're seeing it too in the Steer Clear Traffic Live TDOT cameras. I want to reassure you, first of all, no crashes. All right, we have no crashes in the mid-state, which is great news. This is a live look from Cross Plains. This is I-65 up near Highway 76, and we were watching lightning light up this viewpoint. Same thing down in White House. So for sure, if you are north of Nashville, please take it extra easy. Give yourself a few extra minutes and make sure you're just watching for ponding on the roads. We'll check in again on Steer Clear Traffic in minutes. Unusual weather sweeping across the country. More on.
Just one kiss. With Reynolds Wrap, cooking becomes so easy, you can feel like the chef of your kitchen. Easy prep, easy cook, easy clean. Reynolds Wrap.
All right, breaking news in Steer Clear Traffic. We now have our first crash of the morning. We were fearing that this would happen given all the rain and the storms that have been tracking. And here we go. I-40 at Briley Parkway. This is right over by the airport. It is in the outbound lane. So if you're leaving Nashville and you're trying to get toward Donaldson, Hermitage, Mount Juliet, Lebanon, this is going to be a problem for you. We've got crews with at least 3 lanes of traffic blocked off here. And here's another perspective thanks to Mel, who is helping us get these cameras squared away. Look at that camera bouncing. I mean, the wind and that storm that's come through there, significant here. It looks to me like all lanes of traffic of I-40 are blocked with the exception of one. You are barely able to get by in that far left shoulder area. Again, impacting traffic leaving Nashville going toward the airport. I would recommend a detour for you. You could take Briley Parkway. I know it's going to feel like the long way around, but you can take Briley Parkway and come in from the south side or the north side of Nashville to get there there. You could also take Murfreesboro Pike as a detour to the south and then come up Briley Parkway to avoid this crash. The storms east of Nashville have really been firing up. Greg has been telling us about a pretty strong system going through Mount Juliet and out toward Lebanon right now. So we'll monitor these developments for you and steer clear traffic. There's the crash. You've got the good detour. We'll check back in just a couple of minutes. But right now, let's get the latest on those storms and how they are tracking with Greg.
And Jen, I zoomed in here to the exact area where we just had that crash that we're showing. So this is a zoomed in view, I-40 Briley Parkway. Nothing happening right now weather-wise. I want to rewind you 2 hours and show you a lot of the rain that moved in. I'm going to first zoom out to give you the bigger picture. That circle's still right there where we're having this issue this morning. And let's stair step you back in time 2 hours. Okay, this is 3:48 in the morning, working our way in. And we have had no severe weather, but we have had a lot of lightning, thunder, and definitely some decent downpours. Here's 441. Still not much has gone through that circle or anywhere near that area, but you can see these bands of rain, and this is the one right here that put down some very heavy rainfall in all directions leading toward there. So this is also that thunderstorm complex Jen was just mentioning. I want to stress this is not severe weather, so we're not worrying about taking shelter, finding safe spaces, but there's a lot of lightning with this. It's going to sound very aggressive. It's going to look like a great lightning show depending upon where you are at, but no damaging wind. We have no tornado threat. None of that is happening right now, and this has cleared up. This is how quickly these are moving. 15 minutes ago, we had rain stretching across a large portion of I-40. It has died down. So if you're moving into town here, say from Mount Juliet or Hermitage, hopping on 40, you're going to be okay. This is the spot, though, where we're really watching. We have a lot of heavy rainfall pushing its way right toward the Kentucky state line. We're getting about 70 lightning strikes about every 15 minutes. This has gone from almost nothing a half hour ago into this. Still not severe, but definitely lightning is a threat here for us today. Taking a look, a wind advisory in effect from noon until 6 a.m. tomorrow. Wind gusts upwards of 40 miles per hour. What do temperatures mean for us? Right side of your screen, you're waking up in the 50s. Not a bad place. 77 this afternoon. The rain this morning will eventually move out, and then we go back into a calmer afternoon. Windy, fairly cloudy. I've got one more, not trick up my sleeve because we've been telling you about it, one more thing to tackle, and that's going to be rain tonight into tomorrow morning. Another line of thunderstorms.
All right, Greg, thank you. Sticking with weather, February's ending is bringing some unusual weather to much of different parts of the country. We're talking about snow, intense heat, and much more.
Yeah, in fact, we have a wrap-up this morning from our Fox weather correspondent, Max Gordon.
In Mount Hood, snow is covering the roads as cars maneuver carefully in the slippery conditions.
It's Punxsutawney Phil!
But it looks like Punxsutawney Phil was right when he predicted an early spring for those in the Midwest, because people in Chicago are basking in unseasonably warm temperatures.
Definitely not the weather we would expect in February. It's usually super snowy, freezing, ice everywhere. And so we are just trying to take advantage of a very nice week this week.
People went out for walks, rode bikes, had picnics, and even worked outside.
I'm out here doing a little bit of work from home.
In Chicago on Monday, the mercury hit the mid-60s, breaking records. But people should enjoy it while it lasts. Wednesday, the weather is expected to make an about-face with highs just below freezing. This weather is unusual but not unprecedented, especially with less snowfall this year.
If the water, the lakes, the streams aren't frozen, and the ground is pretty dry because we haven't had a whole lot of precipitation, it's a lot easier to warm up the temperatures, warm up the ground. So it's sort of a lot of things working in tandem.
And in California, frequent rain has made the Golden State a mudslide hotspot. Even though only light rain is expected earlier in the week, the ground is extremely saturated, so more mudslides are possible. A cross-country storm will hit the East Coast by midweek, bringing with it possible rain and snow. In Los Angeles, California, Max Gordon, Fox Weather.
Max, thank you. Let's talk about some entertainment headlines here. One of the most famous songs in history is now at the center of a weird court trial, you could say.
Welcome to the Hotel California. On trial, yeah. How about this? Watch here as the Eagles co-founder Don Henley takes center stage at the trial involving the lyrics for Hotel California. Don Henley, who arrived at a Manhattan court just yesterday, expected to testify in the trial against 3 men who he says stole handwritten draft lyrics to Hotel California and other famous Eagles hits.
The 3 defendants, also seen arriving in the courtroom, are accused of conspiring to own and try to sell the Eagles manuscripts. The disputed pages include lyrics to the song Hotel California and New Kid in Town. Henley reported them stolen after some of the defendants allegedly began listing them for auction. That was all the way back in 2012.
Imagine you're a member of the Eagles and you see these up for auction.
Not going to fly with me.
No. All right. So we understand these 3 men have pleaded not guilty to all of the charges against them. We'll be following this for you and let you know the results.
Coming up, a cow missing. Yes, a cow missing from Mount Juliet found after a journey. More on the story of Moo Moo.
Not the wardrobe choice either.
Oh, good.
Week only, when you buy more, you save more with up to $1,000 off your purchase. Or finance your new furniture with a low monthly payment and 0% interest for 7 years. Shop your local Ashley store today.
5:55 is the time right now. We do want to take a live look showing you the storms that we're watching. This is Nissan Stadium, and a minute ago we were tracking the lightning. You could see it off in the distance, the east back there. It was just a lightning show, and I know Greg was tracking for a 15-minute period about 77 lightning strikes at one point.
Things have calmed down in the metro Nashville area, but still wet roads. Oh, there's a little hit there. Still wet roads out there and maybe some ponding as you head out. So be careful, take it easy, and give yourself a few extra minutes.
We have an update right now about Moo Moo. Yeah, police in Mount Juliet say a missing cow. Don't worry, y'all. Moo Moo is back home. Why are you laughing?
I just think it's cute. All right, Moo Moo, yeah, that's the cow's name, disappeared from a mini farm along Old Lebanon Dirt Road. Now, police say Moo Moo is super friendly and responds to his name, but doesn't really like other male cows.
Oh.
Territorial, you could say.
Yes.
But luckily, Moo Moo has now made his way back home to his owners. This was a story that was kind of popping up on social media for some of you out that way.
Well, that's good news. I'm glad that Moo Moo is back home before the storms because, Greg, the lightning can scare Moo Moo.
Moo Moo found his mama.
Oh, yes, and this lightning, too. An afternoon thunderstorm that's non-severe that has a lot of thunder and lightning kind of triggers you in a different way. Sure. So when something wakes you up in the middle of the night and you're getting a lightning show, heavy rainfall, you have the thunder, I want to not scare you at all. I want to let you know that even though we have a lot of lightning and thunder right along the Kentucky state line here, and we are talking about now lightning that has been dying down. I know it still looks impressive, but as Erica mentioned, we were at one point seeing about 77 lightning strikes every 15 minutes. Now we're at about 47. So that means the lightning is dying down. This system is kind of feeding on all the air around it, and it is dying down as well, which is good news. Lighter rainfall to the south and to the east of this area. So let's go down toward a place here where we're just seeing light pitter-patters of rain in Manchester, but this is pulling away from Flourtown, and it's going to move through the Manchester area, and I would say 5-10 minutes. Not going to last long. Only 2 lightning strikes at this, so not nearly as aggressive or impressive. We have moved a lot of the rainfall away from Nashville, and in about the next hour, we're going to move the rainfall away from most of us. We're kind of on the back end of this morning system. Right side of your screen, we are in the 50s this afternoon. 77 very windy degrees. We're going to be talking about wind gusts that are up to 40 miles per hour this afternoon. And we are not done. We have more showers and storms tonight that we'll track when we go into our 6 o'clock half hour.
Greg, you talking about the high winds makes me think I have some dead plants and some potters that I probably need to get out of the way or just throw them away so they don't blow around this afternoon. Thank you so much. All right, steer clear traffic still have this problem. And this is the one and only traffic problem right now in your morning commute, and it's a doozy. This is right by the airport. Several cars involved in a crash here, I-40 at Briley Parkway. Now, this is outbound. So if you're leaving Nashville, you're trying to get to the airport, that's going to be a hard no right now. You are going to need a detour. Traffic is stacked up for at least a couple of miles in almost every single lane. Best detour if you're leaving Nashville and you're trying to get to the airport. You could take Murfreesboro Pike, which runs to the south of I-40, and then come up Briley Parkway. Or you could take Elm Hill Pike, which runs north of I-40 and drop down on Briley Parkway. So you've got 2 parallel roads that will connect with Briley Parkway and get you to the airport. I would just avoid I-40 at all costs. This is a part of town that has had some of those intense storms that Greg and Erica were just telling you about. So we've got you covered in steer clear traffic with more updates in minutes.
Also talking about health news, the first day of spring is 3 weeks away, and large parts of the country right here in Middle Tennessee, I know this, are experiencing somewhat abnormal warm winter weather. I mean, yesterday, 76 degrees.
Yeah, and of course you want to go outside. You want to get the fresh air and the sunshine and enjoy the conditions. But yeah, the trees are having a ball too right now. And a lot of health and science experts say that, you know, we are seeing more impactful allergy seasons right now. So if you've got the symptoms already, and you don't want to be miserable, try to go ahead and get ahead of this with your medication. Doctors will tell you to start your allergy medicine a couple of weeks before allergy season hits full swing.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Waking up here to a lightning show overnight. A lot of that lightning moving away from the Nashville area, but we are not done yet. Even though most of today will end up being dry, another round of thunderstorms tonight. I'm tracking in your Code Red forecast.
Now on Fox 17 News this Tuesday morning, as school choice stays in the spotlight, things are really heating up as Democrats say the education commissioner is not qualified for her job. Their reasoning just ahead.
2 high school students are facing charges after being accused of bringing guns to school. Coming up in just a minute, I'll have the details on that.
Karen, thanks, and thank you for joining us for Fox 17 News this morning. Here on this Tuesday, I'm Jennifer Waddell.
And I'm Erica Glover. Chances are you're waking up to the sound of thunder. Maybe you're seeing some lightning outside of your window. So we do want to get in right now to our Code Red meteorologist. How long are these conditions going to continue, Greg?
This is not going to be an all-day thing. Most of what we've already seen has tracked through in many spots. So this is kind of the leading edge of where all of our thunderstorm activity has been. It's almost like a connect the dots type of a scenario. Bowling Green getting down toward the east of Portland now, moving down through Murfreesboro, all the way down toward Lawrenceburg. And these are the areas where this broken line of dots have seen the heaviest rain pushing toward the east. Look to the west. Not nearly as active. We're not seeing yellows, oranges, or reds. There'll be a few more light showers and light sprinkles to take us through this morning, and we'll find a few of the pockets that are a little bit heavier right now. But just know that the rain will turn off late morning. We'll get a good, dry, warm afternoon in the 70s, and then we'll see things really pick back up overnight again tonight. Just north and west of Lafayette, I'm going to put our lightning indicator on. This has gotten much better. This storm, I would say less than even a half hour ago, was twice the size and twice the lightning maker that it is right now. If we zoom into just that and get rid of the things to the north, there we are. We have cut our lightning strikes in half in a half hour. So this is crossing the state line as we speak. Right over Rocky Mountain, you get up toward Hayesville, Forest Springs, if you're in southern Kentucky, moving its way toward the north and to the east. Coming up the next check of your forecast, a lot to dive into. Wind advisory takes place later today. Near record high temperatures later on today, and thunderstorms overnight once again tonight into tomorrow. We'll get to those in a few minutes.
All right, Greg, thank you so much. Let's get back into steer clear traffic, and do want to reassure you that what you're seeing on your screen right here is the only crash of the morning right now. But it's a big one, and this is the one that continues to be a problem for commuters over by the airport. And listen, we know a lot of you either have to get to the airport for work, or you're getting to the airport because you need to fly out or pick somebody up. So don't get on I-40 this morning if you are heading toward Nashville International. I would recommend taking Elm Hill Pike or Murfreesboro Pike that run to the north and south, and then jump on Briley Parkway and come in the back way to get to the airport. It's going to save you a big headache. Look at the brake lights.
Oh, it's just a mess out there.
I mean, it's jammed up every lane of traffic on I-40 with the exception of that one little lane that's getting by on the shoulder.
We also want to let you know in Operation Crime and Justice that 2 seniors at a Nashville high school, well, they have both been arrested for allegedly bringing guns to school. So teachers, educators, everyone really frightful of the story.
A Fox 17 News reporter Karen Aguilar has been joining us live this morning at Pearl Cone High School where this all happened, getting us updated on the 2 teenagers involved and the charges.
Good morning. That's right. It's a frightening thought for students and parents, considering all the school shootings that have been happening across the country, and even right here in Nashville with a Covenant school shooting that killed several. Police say that the 2 seniors come here to Pearl Cone High School and brought fully loaded guns on campus. They say that one of the suspects, 18-year-old Mackendale Green, decided to pack his backpack with that loaded gun before entering through these doors behind me, and that the other suspect, 18-year-old Ladarius Britt, was found with a gun inside the glove box of his car in the parking lot. The 2 were arrested just yesterday. Green is being charged with carrying a weapon on school property, and Britt is being charged with carrying a weapon on school property and theft. Now, we've reached out to the Pearl Cone High School administration and the principal to find out if they plan to increase security measures and if those 2 seniors will be expelled. Now, it's still early. We haven't heard back, but when we do, we will bring that information to you. Reporting live in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you very much. 6:05 is the time right now, and we have headlines in crisis in the classroom where the House version of the school choice voucher bill has now been officially filed, and the state education commissioner is coming under fire from Democrats trying to take a different angle on this whole approach, saying that she's not a Tennessee resident and shouldn't even be in her position.
Yeah, so we're getting some updates about this. Representative Scott Sapicki is the chair of the Education Instruction Subcommittee, and Sapicki says the House version of the voucher bill focuses on educational reform with less testing and then streamlining teacher evaluations. But Representative Caleb Hemmer says Tennessee Education Commissioner Lizette Reynolds, who is behind this voucher program, is not legally qualified for her position. Hemmer says she has no teacher's license and is not a resident of Tennessee. He also says the program gives taxpayer money to private schools.
There's going to be certain situations in failing schools that parents feel trapped because of the zip code they're in, and they want to have a better opportunity now.
So, we would say, look, this is a problem, and we see this as ultimately taken away from public schools, and ultimately that could penalize some small rural counties.
Now that's J.C. Bowman from the Professional Educators of Tennessee, who says he likes a lot of things on the bill, but does not like the school voucher piece because he says it weakens public schools. By the way, I just wanted you to know that we are working on the claims that the Commissioner of Education is not a resident and is not qualified for the position. As for that piece of this story, we're working on a response to those claims. In the meantime, just know that the House subcommittee meets later today. They're going to walk through the bill and they might vote on it as well.
Coming up, years after a deadly shooting, police track down the man they say may be responsible. More on this case and other charges.
A group of street racers, the four people.
Someone should really say something or order something.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Fox 17 celebrates Black History Month.
6:09 is the time. Right now, Fox 17 News, we are following a breaking news update from earlier this morning, mapping it out for you too right here on the screen. Metro police say a man was killed after an overnight shooting near Fisk University.
Metro dispatchers confirming to Fox 17 News that it happened right around 10 o'clock last night at the intersection of 16th Avenue and Herman Street, as Erica mentioned, right there by Fisk University. We do know that somebody is in custody connected to this deadly shooting, but we're still working to find out more about the suspect and about the victim. We'll keep you posted as we get those developments on air and online at fox17.com.
At 6:10 in Operation Crime and Justice, we now know a man is behind bars after a shooting that left one man dead back in September of 2022. Now Metro Police arresting this man on your screen, 42-year-old Jermaine Jenkins. Sunday night is when that arrest happened. Jenkins is accused of killing 43-year-old Christopher Gooddale on West Trinity Lane. Gooddale was found in a gas station parking lot. By the way, 2 other people were arrested in connection to the getaway car.
6:10, more street racers off the streets in Nashville. We go to Operation Crime and Justice, where 5 people now facing charges as Metro Police are cracking down on these people terrorizing our communities. You're looking on your screen here at Amilcar Mejia, Catalan Rodriguez, Pablo Rodolfo, Leandria Bailey, and then one more person who was just 17 years old. They're all facing charges. Police say this group was posing a danger to the community as they were performing stunts in South Nashville during street racing at an illegal meetup.
Right now, we're going to check in with Greg. You also mentioned, Greg, that later today, wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour. That's concerning.
Yeah, this morning, as if it wasn't loud enough and already, a way to start a Tuesday, we're going to get a break. We're going to crank up the heat, the wind, and also another chance for some thunderstorms overnight tonight into tomorrow. So this is going to move out of here fairly quickly. A large portion of our day will be on the drier side. But yes, a wind advisory in effect, and that's going to give us 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts between noon and 6 a.m. tomorrow. Watertown, listen up, 12 minutes. This little guy holds together. Weak thunderstorm. You could get another decent downpour and a clap or two of some thunder tracking through the area. Everything, though, compared to an hour ago, has significantly improved for us here across Middle Tennessee. And now the last stronger thunderstorm that we had, or at least better lightning producing thunderstorm that we had. I wouldn't necessarily by any means call it a strong thunderstorm. Nothing to worry about. No severe weather so far this morning, and none expected for the rest of it. Taking a look, going toward the north and the east, moving its way out of Middle Tennessee. We'll keep our eyes on the radar, but the next time you see me here, we're going to start talking forward. Wind, warm temperatures, storms tonight, and then a big blast of cold air by the end of the week. That's coming your way in about 7 minutes.
All right, Greg, thank you. Greg's got his eye on the radar. We've got our eyes on the roads for you and steer clear traffic. We are seeing a little bit of improvement now in our only crash in the mid-state at the moment. This is I-40 over by Briley Parkway at the airport. Improvement in the sense, Erica, that we're now seeing instead of 1 lane of traffic getting by, we got 3 lanes.
Yeah, so it's looking like I'm making a little bit of progress out there, but still a mess.
It is. I would still encourage you, if you have to get to the airport this morning on I-40 from Nashville, all right, if you are west of the airport, take Elm Hill Pike or Murfreesboro Pike. They both meet up with Briley Parkway and will take you right to the airport and get you around this. Just a reassurance, too, that the rest of your morning commute is looking good. This is I-65 at Trinity Lane. Sun's coming up. Rain has moved out. Still some wet pavement out there, but all in all, not too bad in the rest of your mid-state morning commute.
All right, giving you those detours coming up. President Biden says the hostage crisis may come to a resolution in what could be just a couple of more days.
If a lawmaker is expelled from the chambers here in Tennessee, should they be allowed back in, even if they're voted back in? Well, that is at the center of a hot debate.
Cord fitting at the Good Feet store.
Watch Crisis in the Classroom only on Fox 17 News.
If you've been injured in a car accident, call Pound Law from your cell phone. Morgan & Morgan.
6:15 is the time, and right now we do want to take a live look showing you that Nashville skyline. You know what? It looks a little bit calmer than a couple of hours ago when we saw that lightning just taking over the area.
Cloudy start, though. Those clouds are going to stick around for a bit, and Greg will tell us how more storms are on the way. It could be a soggy day if you have outdoor activities, if the kids have sports outside today.
A windy day, too.
Yeah, windy, soggy, so be prepared, and we'll get you posted in your latest forecast changes in minutes.
We're following international headlines this Tuesday. President Biden says he hopes a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas can take effect by sometime early next week.
My national security advisor tells me that we're close. We're close. It's not done yet. And my hope is by next Monday, we'll have a ceasefire.
We'll explain in a minute why it looked like President Biden was using an ice cream cone as a microphone. Okay, we'll get to that. Right now, just know that negotiators have been working toward a deal that would pause Israel's military operations to allow for the remaining hostages in Gaza to be released. CNN reports an agreement would likely be implemented in phases.
All right, now back to the ice cream cone situation. Yeah. Okay, you may be wondering, why was President Biden making those comments while holding a scoop of ice cream?
He was at an ice cream shop in New York City with a comedian, Seth Meyers, and he was set to sit down for an interview in that area for a campaign event when folks started asking him questions, you know, while he was making a public appearance. And it looked like he was
talking into the ice cream scoop. It's a story that you're probably going to see trending on Fox17.com, so we're letting you know about it right now.
We're keeping you one step ahead of it, all right? We got you covered.
We also have continuing coverage of the future of Congressman Mark Green, who is walking back his statement saying that he's going to retire.
There were several people surprised at his announcement, especially with a lot of work that he had been doing with regards to the impeachment inquiry into Alejandro Mayorkas, right? They thought, gosh, why is he stepping down? He's just getting started. Well, it would appear that Representative Green is reconsidering his decision. Just a couple weeks ago, he told Fox 17 News that he would be leaving Washington after accomplishing the things that he set out to do. His office not going into details and what's behind this apparent change of heart, but if Mr. Green does run again, he could face former Nashville Mayor Megan Barry, a Democrat, if she wins the Democratic primary. Now, if he were to lose the district, or if a Republican were to lose, period, it could certainly impact the majority that we have in the House.
This Tuesday morning, we're also talking about a proposal that would keep local governments from reappointing state lawmakers who were expelled due to behavior that has passed the Tennessee House. So you might be wondering, hey, this sounds familiar. You're correct.
Yeah, this goes back to what happened last spring when Republicans expelled Democratic Representatives Justin Jones and Justin Pearson for unruly behavior, leading protests in the chambers. Well, after that expulsion, they went back to their localities and were quickly reappointed. Representative Pearson called the current proposal overreach and that leaders are trying to take power away from local officials. Senate Speaker Randy McNally says his chamber will see what the House does before considering any of the proposals.
And hey, just want to let you know, your voice, your vote. The deadline for early voting in Tennessee's presidential primary is today. There are also local elections on the ballot for some areas, just depends on where you are. So far, nearly 22,000 Nashvillians have decided to go ahead and vote early.
If you miss early voting today, March 5th is going to be the official Super Tuesday.
Yeah, because weather might play a role in some folks getting out there and voting today. How long is the weather condition, the shower is going to continue?
Most of us that have already seen the storms that rolled through, say, the Nashville area, we're done for right now. You might catch a little sprinkle, but nothing like earlier, that is for sure. Three things to know: warm, windy, and rainy. We have the rain right now. We're going to dry out for the afternoon and the evening hours. But a wind advisory takes place then. Noon today until 6 a.m. tomorrow. So it's about an 18-hour period right there. We could have wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour. And then an aggressive temperature swing by Thursday morning. This afternoon, likely in the upper 70s. Thursday morning, upper 20s for temperatures. Crunch a little math right there. 50 degrees roughly. Colder. 36 hours after we had our high temperature today. That's where we're at. Here is the wind advisory. It's for everybody. Again, 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Here's downtown looking much calmer than it did an hour and a half ago, to say the least. We had a lot of thunder here, a couple rounds of it that moved in. We have not had a single severe thunderstorm. We're not worried about severe weather this morning. This is just one of those things that may have woken you up. Nothing to worry about here this morning, I promise. Rain chances do die down through 9 a.m. We get that brief period of some dry time. Early afternoon through, I would say, about the first half of tonight. Really, I do not believe that much rolls through Nashville overnight until after 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So you're going to wake up tomorrow morning again with a few more showers and storms. Here's what we're looking at on Future Track through noon. Pretty good. Noon takes us to 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock continues through, and we're going to stop right here just after midnight tonight. Southern Kentucky, the chance for some thunderstorms to move in. Even the slightest chance we could see a stronger storm in southern Kentucky. This line weakens as it gets toward Nashville. Here's 4 a.m. tomorrow, and then by 6, 7 o'clock, pulling away from the metro out toward the Cumberland Plateau, and then we wave goodbye to that, and also our warmer temperatures. Look at your screen. 77 degrees today, 28 Thursday morning, and we keep it cold until we get to the upcoming weekend.
A lot going on. Greg, thank you so much. 6:21 is your time. Do want to check in now for your steer clear traffic update. Now, the crash near the airport, that one is clearing, so that's a good news update there. But this is an area that could be impacting your commute from Smyrna and Laverne. I-24, Sam Ridley Parkway, you can see just a little bit of backup here. Nothing too severe, but we'll continue keeping a very close eye on all of your steer clear traffic updates throughout 9 a.m.
Hey, speaking of traffic, wanted to just give you a heads up on some road work that'll be happening in and around the Nashville main loop of I-40. Rolling roadblocks that could cause a few delays. So I'm going to point out what we've got going on here. If you look just to, off center here, we've got downtown Nashville. This is I-40 as it runs on the west loop of Nashville. All right, we've got I-40 that comes over here and meets up with 65 as well. So this is the 40-65 interchange, and the work could be along I-40 west of downtown near interchanges like Church Street, Broadway, 46th. Just a heads up, again, rolling roadblocks as they do a little bit of road work. You might run into that congestion if you're in and around downtown.
Coming up, a Fort Campbell soldier is charged in a crash that left a woman injured. How police say events unfolded on Friday night. And the Predators are returning from a 5-game road trip.
Up to $9,590 off the MSRP on a new Armada. Plus, get a lifetime warranty. MatthewsNissan.com.
The Good Feet Store. Improving people's lives 2 feet at a time.
Good morning. Welcome into Fox 17 News this morning. Glad to have you here with us at 624. Operation Crime and Justice. We have a soldier stationed at Fort Campbell who is now accused of driving under the influence and causing a serious crash over the weekend.
Yeah, so police say the Friday night crash over in Clarksville saw a woman's car rear-ended by a white Jeep, which reportedly just took off from what happened. Police identifying the Jeep driver, though, as this man, 35-year-old Daniel Harmon. He is now charged with DUI, leaving the scene of an accident, and more serious charges. The woman was life flighted to Nashville. She is currently in stable condition. That was the last update we got.
Let's get to some sports headlines here on your Tuesday morning. The Preds are on fire. Returning from a Western road trip, they are bringing back wins in every game out west, and that tallies 5 wins. They're playing the Ottawa Senators at Bridgestone Arena tonight. So really coming in with a lot of momentum.
Yeah, the Preds swept all 5 games on the road. The first time really in franchise history that they have hit that marker. So big congrats here if I can get my voice together. As for tonight, here we go. We're back. The Senators are hitting the ice after a 3-6 loss to the Washington Capitals just yesterday. So the Preds really trying to keep that streak alive.
You got to strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah.
Get them while they're down. I mean, I hate to put it that way, but you know what I'm saying in sports terms. I mean, if they're, they're struggling, so time to go in for the win. The puck drops at 7 o'clock tonight. Good luck to our Predators.
Hey, so Greg stepped out for a moment, so we're going to take over when it comes to your weather and let you take a look at your lunchtime forecast. The temperature is not going to be the issue at hand, and the showers that we're currently experiencing, Greg says they're going to move out around lunchtime. But do keep in mind then a wind advisory is going to be in effect, and it could be wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour. So certainly go ahead and tie down your trash cans, any kind of loose debris that you have outside. But when you see your temperatures, we are good. Looking in the 73-degree mark, also swinging into the 20s, so that big Tennessee swing, that's coming in later this week.
Tie down the trash cans, hold on to the small dogs. 6:26 right now, steer clear traffic time. I want to let you know we've got some good news. And that crash that happened over by the airport, look at this. It is now cleared. They've got just a couple of police officers over on that far right shoulder. Traffic is now moving once again. So I wouldn't urge you to take a detour at this moment, especially if you're leaving Nashville and going to the airport. Looking so much better. Now, I will tell you, I'm tracking a couple of other slowdowns. One is on Vietnam Veterans Boulevard in Hendersonville, and the other is on I-24 between Laverne and Antioch. We're going to check in on those 2 locations in our next Steer Clear Traffic.
Just ahead, a teenager is charged in the shooting of another teen, and what police say was an attempted robbery. It's a breaking news update we'll share in a couple of minutes.
And just a moment of
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Good morning, 6:30 on the dot, and thanks for waking up with us here on Fox 17 News This Morning. Most of the storms have now moved out of the mid-state, but this is a pause in the action. Greg will join us in minutes to explain when the next round of storms moves in.
And good news when it comes to the airport conditions over there. That accident has cleared, but now we're taking a live look over in Hendersonville. We're going to give you a full track of all your Steer Clear traffic updates in a couple of minutes.
And a bill that just passed the Tennessee House aims to keep certain flags out of our classrooms. They want to make sure it's just the American flag and the Tennessee flag on display. We'll tell you why this is facing pushback.
Let's get started, though, by thanking you for waking up with us here on a Tuesday morning for Fox 17 News. I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. Glad to be here for you as your live local news source through 9 a.m. And we begin with an updated track of this morning's weather. I know some of you had Mother Nature's alarm with the thunder and lightning earlier.
Absolutely. Now, we've got a nice break. Right side of your screen is what moved through it. It moved through quickly. Left side of your screen, I'm drawing a line here to show you that there are a few light rain showers that are just coming into the area right now. These are not going to produce thunder or lightning. This is not another round of what we just saw overnight. None of those were severe weather, but when you get woken up by thunder and you've lived here across Middle Tennessee for a while, it could be triggering at times. We understand that completely. But as far as what has happened over the course of the last several hours, let's rewind you 4 hours and take a look at where we came from as opposed to where we're at. So here we go. We're going back in time, the Wayback Machine. Let's move it forward, and you can see as he's moved in, right around 3 o'clock, still almost no thunder or lightning in the area, and then everything goes right across Middle Tennessee and picks up all that energy from the atmosphere and gave us those thunderstorms overnight that quickly fired, and now those are moving into East Tennessee. But we are not done yet. We are going to continue to work through more rainfall after dark tonight. I'm even talking after midnight tonight. Until then, wind advisory goes into effect. Temperatures in the 70s. A lot of other things to talk about in the next 7 days, including a morning where you'll wake up feeling close to 20 degrees. Stick with me in your COVID forecast.
Man, Greg, this weather, that's that Tennessee swing, right? That we refer to every once in a while. Live look and steer clear traffic. Things are swinging in a positive direction for your morning commute. The crash by the airport cleared up. Just a little bit of congestion along I-24 coming in from places like Murfreesboro, Laverne, Smyrna this morning, Antioch. Somewhat congested, but again, no major crashes. And in fact, that looks to be the case. We are currently crash free in the midstate. We will give another check of your steer clear commute in minutes.
6:33 is the time. We're tracking more headlines, letting you know about an update from our breaking news in Bellevue yesterday. Metro Police say a teenager is accused of shooting another teenager. Again, this is over in Bellevue, a very busy area.
Right. So here's what we've learned so far this morning. An 18-year-old named Wyatt Morrison accused of shooting another 18-year-old during an attempted robbery. Now, this happened behind the old movie theater on Belforest Circle, right near the intersection of Highway 70 and OHB. The victim drove to this gas station right at that intersection. This is the Circle K, and then later went to the hospital with gunshot wounds to the shoulder and the neck. Morrison charged with especially aggravated attempted robbery.
2 seniors at a Nashville high school have been arrested for allegedly bringing guns to school.
Fox 17 News reporter Karen Aguilar joining us now with the update.
Imagine walking into the school and finding out that 2 classmates brought fully loaded guns on campus. Well, that's a reality for high schoolers that come here to Pearl Cone High School after police are accusing 2 seniors of doing just that. The seniors were identified as 18-year-old Ladarius Britt and 18-year-old Mackendale Green. Police arrested them just yesterday. Police say Britt had a gun in his car when school staff searched the parking lot. The gun came back as stolen. He was charged with carrying a weapon on school property and theft. Green had a gun in his backpack. He told police he brought it to school for protection. He was charged with carrying a weapon on school property. It's a frightening thought for students and parents that 2 seniors brought fully loaded guns to school, considering all the school shootings that are happening across the country. I reached out to Pearl Cone High School to ask if they're going to increase their security measures after this incident. We're waiting to hear back. Reporting in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. There is a plan to ban all flags in the classroom with the exception of Tennessee's flag and the American flag, and that passed the State House just yesterday.
All right, so critics of this measure say it targets pride flags, but supporters of the bill say the LGBTQ flag, for one, has no business in our schools, but that would go along with other flags for different causes. Again, critics say that this would go against marginalized students. Another issue here is whether the plan would allow the Confederate flag to be displayed. But listen to the response from our lawmakers with regards to that particular question.
Per the article that was cited in your bill, can we display the Confederate/Southern States flag?
One of those categories, of course, is a flag that is relevant to any bona fide course curriculum. So, for example, if a history class were studying the Civil War and on a projector the teacher showed a Confederate flag and a Union flag, that would be perfectly appropriate.
Well, the Senate will now take up this particular issue, so a lot more updates to come on this particular topic.
The FBI informant who is accused of lying about President Biden will stay in jail. We'll tell you why in just a couple of minutes.
And SpaceX has just been investigated for the 2nd time. We're going to share the findings from the Federal Aviation Administration. And coming up on Fox 17 News this morning at 7, are you finding it harder to find somewhere affordable to park when you even go downtown?
With Rooms to Go Kids and Rooms to Go Patio all under one roof at 2846 Medical Center Parkway.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Destin Fort Walton Beach, Florida.
Getting Updated on some national headlines here to kick off your Tuesday morning. And the longtime FBI informant who was accused of lying about President Biden will stay in jail. A judge has ordered Alexander Smirnov to stay in custody as he awaits trial. Prosecutors say Smirnov lied about the president and Hunter Biden, implicating them in a multi-million-dollar bribery scheme involving a Ukrainian energy company. We know that this is a guy who was previously seen as a witness for the efforts to impeach President Biden. Now let's go to some science and technology headlines here this morning. The FAA has now wrapped up its investigation of SpaceX, specifically with regards to the most recent Starship flight mishap. The company is applying for a license to launch the rocket again. But before SpaceX can do that, they're going to have to make a bunch of changes after the most recent rocket had to be intentionally destroyed because of all the flaws. Elon Musk says they're going to try another test flight coming up in mid-March.
And 6:40, what an active overnight into this morning we have seen so far. Everything has died down on the radar. A few more sprinkles will be out there, maybe the lightest of rain showers between now and 9 o'clock. But all the thunder and lightning is done for 99% of us. Now we talk wind and future. Yeah, we're all in this tannish color. That means we're all under a wind advisory. 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts, noon to 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. You might think, well, what's an advisory and a watch and a warning and all this? To make it easy, wind advisory means you're going to have wind gusts, so those strong bursts of wind, 40 to 57 miles per hour. We're not getting any higher than that, so we're not going into a warning scenario. But there will be times when that breeze really does pick up. So, Jen, what does that mean when it comes to where's your garbage can at?
I'll have to double check mine, that's for sure.
I'm not saying necessarily down the street or missing, but it might be in the neighbor's yard. Just keep that in mind. If it's not locked down, bring it inside if you can. That'll be your best bet. We're going to talk about temperatures that go from the 70s to the 20s and another round of possible storms overnight tonight into tomorrow on the next check of your Code Red forecast.
All righty, Greg, thanks so much. Yeah, I definitely have to check both of our trash cans and some dead plants that are still in pots that need to be thrown away pronto. All right, 6:41 right now. Steer clear traffic. Hey, looking so much better right now. We had a big crash over by the airport that has since cleared. And we are currently, I'm going to give you one more check before I say this, but just want to confirm. Yeah, we are crash free. Really reassuring. Your commute this morning from Dickson and Bellevue looks great on I-40. Your southern commute from Thompson Station, Brentwood looks great. The commute from White House, north of Nashville, no problems there. A little slow on I-24. And this is a live look from I-65 at Concord, just reaffirming that that 65 commute's good. All in all, really not bad at all. We'll give another check in some other parts of town in minutes. Security cameras malfunction, giving access to the inside of people's homes. Terrifying, especially if you're somebody who has these cameras in your house. We'll tell you what happened and dive deeper into the bigger issue.
$250,000! Tonight at 7 on Fox 17.
The Good Feet Store, improving people's lives 2 feet at a time.
A trial date has now been set in the manslaughter case against Alec Baldwin for his role in the deadly 2021 Rust film set shooting. I mean, this has been going on for years now.
It has, and we're going to start to see it finally come to a head with a resolution, hopefully. Jury selection set to start this July in New Mexico. Trial involving Alec Baldwin expected to last about a week or so. The cinematographer, Helena Hutchins, killed by a live round that was fired from a prop gun that Alec Baldwin was holding, and he is charged with involuntary manslaughter. Now, this announcement for jury selection in his trial comes as the manslaughter trial against the Rust armorer. In other words, the woman who was responsible for supplying those prop weapons, Hannah Gutierrez. That trial continues now into its 4th day.
Let's talk about some security concerns as American homeowners continue to rely on, video security systems to keep us safe. Yeah. There is a recent glitch that finds it's possibly not doing that. And unfortunately, someone else could be looking inside of your home, and that's just creepy.
This is the downside of technology for sure. Michael Yoshida with the story.
Smart camera maker Wyze is blaming a technical glitch for a security issue that allowed about 13,000 customers to see images and video from inside other people's homes last week.
I work in this space, so I'm not all that surprised.
Wyze says customers saw thumbnails from other users' homes in the company's app. 1,500 of them tapped to enlarge the thumbnails, allowing some customers to watch footage from other people's cameras. Rob Gabriel, a home security expert for safehome.org, says while it may be convenient to access wireless security cameras remotely through our devices, that ease and comfort comes with a cost.
Our privacy risk is almost like a tax that we pay for the convenience of being connected to the internet and, the Internet of Things.
Gabriel says companies have the responsibility to make sure they keep improving their security protocols. There are also simple steps you can take to minimize your risk. First, check the company's track record. Second, only put cameras in living rooms, hallways, and near doors, not in bathrooms or bedrooms. That way, if someone accessed your home security camera, they won't capture your most intimate moments. Gabriel also recommends cameras with privacy shutters.
It's an actual physical shutter that you can hear click on and off so that the camera is not viewing you when you don't want it to be.
Wise says more than 99.75% of all accounts were unaffected by the security issue. And the company says it has added a new layer of verification before users can see thumbnails and videos to prevent this from happening again. I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
Michael, thank you. We're also talking about tax refunds. Some Americans already seeing higher tax returns than this year. Well, I should say this year than previous years. That's some good news there.
Yeah, the IRS says the average return as of February 16th is $3,207.
I'll take it.
This year's refund, 2.1% higher compared to this same time last year. Now, the IRS says they've issued about 20 million returns so far. The increase in the average return likely attributed to changes from the IRS, they say, trying to address inflation.
Entertainment news, Eagles co-founder Don Henley taking center stage at the Hotel California lyrics trial. Maybe you've read about this story. Henley, who arrived right here at a Manhattan courtroom yesterday, is expected to testify in the trial of 3 men that he claims stole handwritten draft lyrics to Hotel California and other Eagles hits.
Okay, so we have 3 defendants arriving in the court at the same time as Don Henley. Those 3 are accused of conspiring to own and sell the Eagles manuscripts. The disputed pages include lyrics to, yes, Hotel California, but also New Kid in Town. Don Henley reported them stolen after some of them tried to list them for auction in 2012. All 3 men have pleaded not guilty to the charges. So we'll let you know how this proceeds.
6:48 is the time, and I got a question for y'all. Okay, is your trash can tied down? Where's your trash can right now?
Hold on, let me make a phone call. I don't know, but we have to bring ours inside because they will for sure blow away.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, it's going to be windy enough to where that's the case. We're not chasing it and running down the street. But I
Hopefully.
Hopefully. If you are, please take a video of whoever your significant other might be chasing the garbage can on the street. I would love to see that in process. But it will be very windy. Wind gusts up near 40 miles per hour later on this afternoon, tracking those morning showers that are now on the tail end of it. We have a little bit of light rain in our easternmost counties, small little sprinkles that are out there, but nothing like what we had even 2 hours ago when the thunderstorm activity was at its greatest. Thunderstorms start up again tonight, but we're all clear. Still no indicators of severe weather that have me worried. Very warm in the meantime. Yeah, we're going to go for 77 degrees later on this afternoon. And then you wake up 2 days from now. You go from 77 degrees this afternoon to 28 degrees Thursday morning. That's nearly 50 degrees of a temperature difference in 2 days. So if you don't know, you wonder, oh, hello, Crane. Okay. You weren't there a few minutes ago. Well, as always, we have the never-ending construction downtown on the new honky tonks. Rain chances today, dying down this morning. Afternoon, nice and dry, windy for sure. And then overnight tonight into tomorrow, rain moves in from northwest to southeast. Southern Kentucky starting around midnight. Nashville area around 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and exiting going a little bit later. We're going to get a brand new look at Future Track before I show you again in about 5 minutes from right now. It'll update for me, and I'll let you know what we're seeing leading ourselves into tonight. Just know that if you're done with the thunder, you are done until overnight tonight. You can rest easy for the rest of the day.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Snowfall in parts of the Pacific Northwest Monday. Looks like these fish in Oregon were enjoying it. Parts of Washington state were peppered with hail. Meanwhile, these blossoms remained brilliant under a coating of snow. And it looks like winter returns to Bozeman, Montana. Storm advisories expected to remain for a chunk of the state Tuesday.
Listen to Off the Radar. New episodes every Tuesday.
Steer clear traffic time right now, just about 6:51. We're going to take you live to I-24 at Old Hickory Boulevard. This is a very good morning for all of you coming into Nashville from places like Clarksville, Pleasant View, Springfield, Jolton. I-24 looks really good. No backups here on your way into Nashville. And that's really the case throughout most of the midstate this morning. In fact, we continue to be crash-free. No major problems out there on the interstates. Just a few of our typical slow zones on the major interstates. We'll check in. Let's go down to southeast of Nashville in our next Steer Clear traffic report.
Well, spring break is right around the corner. I know a lot of families are making those plans. And if your destination is Mexico, the U.S. State Department wants you to keep some travel and safety tips top of mind.
All right, always important here, especially if you're going out of the country. The U.S. Embassy and the consulates in Mexico cautioning Americans to keep a high level of situational awareness. That is key in life in general, but especially if you are in another country. Be aware of your surroundings. Pay attention to where you are, who's around you. Are there, things happening around you that would cause alarm? Drug activity, crime. Spring break is coming up here too. So if you've got young people in your family who are going on spring break, a good reminder, situational awareness. They're also recommending that you stay in groups, especially if you're going out to restaurants, bars, or nightclubs. And their last reminder is you may want to consider travel insurance just in case the weather or other issues pop up.
Some good advice, all of that. Well, coming up, we're talking about the grocery tax. Some Tennessee volunteers are coming together in favor of the grocery tax bill, what they did to show public support.
Still to come here on Fox 17 News this morning in our 7 o'clock hour, a long-time mid-state minister.
Someone hit you. Insurance companies could put us out of business if they wanted to. All they have to do is be fair. But they're not. I can help.
6:55 is the time. Right now we're showing you a live look at the, somewhat sunrise this Tuesday morning. The sun looks like it's trying to peek out there. The cloud cover is really heavy this morning. That's because you probably woke up to the sound of thunder. You saw lightning outside of the window. We do know those showers are going to make their way out around lunchtime. And then we have the wind advisory that's really going to pick up. Wind speeds 40 miles per hour. So go ahead. Greg was saying, make sure your trash can is tied down, your pots, any kind of loose things outside. Just be safe out there.
Small dogs. I say that having previously had small dogs, and
That's
no
true.
joke. Like
That's a good point.
They get a little unsteady sometimes. All right, just a few minutes before 7 o'clock right now, and new this morning, Tennessee volunteers are coming together to support a proposed grocery tax bill reprieval, you could say. This is a bill that would eliminate the grocery tax that we pay on our food and food ingredients here in Tennessee.
Dozens of volunteers petitioned for signatures at grocery stores across 10 counties over the weekend. So what you're seeing on your screen are photos. Instead of the consumer paying the tax, the bill sponsors say corporations would cover the cost. Okay, you can read the full bill, all the measures included in this by going to fox17.com and searching grocery tax bill.
Yeah, because when you look at tax revenue overall, you couldn't get rid of the grocery tax and not replace it with something else.
Right.
So the proposal from some Democrats here in Tennessee is to replace that with a tax on businesses.
I'm curious to see where this will go.
As Erica mentioned, you can read more at fox17.com. All right. Let go my ego. Do you remember that slogan?
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
My Saturday mornings.
Yeah, for a long time. Ego is taking National Pancake Day to the next level with a new house of pancakes. Not a house of waffles.
Ooh.
But a house of pancakes.
Yeah, the company says its new house of pancakes. Look at this on your screen. It's going to be available to rent. The house has a chimney that resembles, a stick of butter, and the interior is decked out in breakfast-themed decor. So where is it located? Oh, y'all listen to this.
Wait.
Gatlinburg.
Really? You want to go, don't you?
Bonding trip. Let's gather up everyone in the newsroom.
Okay, I know you, like us, are now we piqued your interest. So how do you find this place? It is home2go.com. Erica, I see you. She's logging onto the website right now. It'll be available starting tomorrow.
Yes. Ooh, look at those bunk beds.
But how does it sleep? I mean, is it cozy?
It doesn't matter. This is calling our names.
Will I see a bear?
Can we expense this?
We're turning it in for our expense reimbursement. I love it. Field trip.
Take a look here at 6:58 this morning. One thing you want to make sure you know is that we're not completely done with all of our rain just yet, at least for the entire day. Now, the morning hours are going to be much more cooperative than they were before the sun came up. Taking a look, a few more isolated sprinkles here. This gets you to lunchtime. Rain dies down for the afternoon. And then after sunset, that is our best chance to work into another round of thunderstorms. This is that brand new update I promised you about 5 minutes ago. Taking a look. 1 a.m. This is going overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. 1 a.m. goes to 4 a.m. through southern Kentucky, continuing to move down. Watch how this gets weaker, but a secondary band on the backside of it. Y'all look up. Did you think the storms and wind we're going to have and the 77-degree temperatures were enough? Southern Kentucky, I cannot rule out a couple of snowflakes in the forecast overnight tonight.
Oh, he got the buzzer.
I said it. It's possible. I've got a lot more and a lot new updates for you at 7 o'clock talking about that wind and 77-degree highs. Stick with us. A lot's coming your way.
I'm not sure that all of you watching us right now on our Facebook Live got to hear the buzzer, but Greg just got buzzed for the mere mention of snow. Sorry, Greg. I deserve it. It is what it is. Steer clear traffic. Hey, not looking too bad this morning. However, I do want to draw to your attention something that's popping here on I-65 at Concord. Now, I'm checking the TDOT map as we speak. I don't see any crashes reported in this area, but we have almost a complete stoppage in the far left lanes of I-65, and this is inbound to Nashville. We'll see if we can get a source of it. It may just be stop and go brake check action. But steer clear if you were jumping on I-65 right now and you're south of Concord coming up north toward Nashville. Definitely have a backup there in those left lanes.
For the first time ever, scientists in Scotland, they were unveiling a 240 million-year-old dragon in its entirety. Okay. The nearly 15-foot-long reptile from the Triassic period was first found in China back in 2003, but there are new fossils, okay, that were allowed an international team of researchers to then put together this entire creature. That's the update for this.
So it's basically Loch Ness, except in another part of the world. I mean, and that's what it looks like, right?
It does.
Am I right? Some folks say, you know, it does look like a Chinese dragon that you might see in the cartoons as well. That long neck, scientists say, helped it catch all kinds of prey in the waters. Oh my God, looking at it like that, it almost looks like it's under the microscope, but that looks to be like an X-ray version of this thing. And that's, I think some people would feel like that's the thing of nightmares.
Yeah, that's a little scary. Hey, stay with us. Our 7 o'clock hour is starting right now.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
There's going to be certain situations in failing schools that parents feel trapped.
This is a disgrace. It's pathetic.
Now on Fox 17 News this Tuesday morning, the heated debate over school choice, why the commissioner is now in the hot seat.
And as we speak, crews of searchers, volunteers, and first responders are trying to find this teenage boy missing in Hendersonville. He has autism, and there is a high level of concern trying to find him right now. We'll tell you how you can help new in the 7 o'clock hour.
Locating and fixing potholes will be easier for one city. Find out what city and the details in just a minute.
Patrol, folks care about the potholes. We all do.
Yes.
Thank you so much for waking up with us here on a Tuesday morning. For Fox 17 News, I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We're glad to be your live local news source, always here for you through 9 a.m. You just heard Greg mention snow. We're also tracking thunderstorms coming our way. That's a mixed bag and a Tennessee swing if I've ever heard it, Greg. What's the latest?
Trying to give you your money's worth here on a Tuesday morning. Yeah, we're talking about wind that'll be upwards of 40 miles per hour. We'll have 77-degree high temperatures. We had storms going into this morning. We'll have more storms overnight. Snow by the morning for a couple of folks. Might see a few flakes. And then we all wake up feeling like 20 degrees on Thursday. A lot to talk about this morning. Taking a look right now. Doppler radar has calmed down immensely compared to a few hours ago. A couple little specks of green are going to continue to pop up here, though. So still have an umbrella this morning. By about lunchtime, all the rain moves out. The afternoon stays dry. We do get nice and warm. Wind advisory, though, is going to be in effect for us here from noon today until 6 a.m. tomorrow. We're setting the scene right now for what I'm going to break down piece by piece in your upcoming Code Red forecast. We'll start with the warm temperatures and the temperature crash, the wind, and then we will talk about overnight storms.
Greg, thank you. 7:03 right now. Time to get into steer clear traffic, and still looking pretty good for the most part out there on our interstates. This is a live look from I-24 at Waldron Road. Good morning to all of our friends coming in from Murfreesboro, Laverne, Smyrna this morning. A little stacked up, but that's just part of your normal morning commute. There is nothing out of the ordinary on I-24 coming into Nashville right now. We'll get a check of the Mount Juliet commute in just a few minutes. I'm seeing a backup coming into Nashville right now.
Well, right now, we also need to bring you up to speed for breaking news regarding this missing teenager. TBI issuing an endangered child alert for a missing autistic teenager, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, who was last seen over in Hendersonville. And I know, Jen, you were talking about the ongoing search efforts that started on Sunday, I believe, correct?
Such a big community response here. Yes, the last time that folks said they saw Sebastian was at home Sunday night, and then as of Monday morning, he was reported missing. Last seen in the area around Beach High School. He was wearing a black sweatshirt and sweatpants and glasses, which you can see here in the picture that is on your screen. I want to bring you an update from the Sumner County Sheriff's Office. They are saying that if you want to help, and there are so many people across the mid-state who are trying to help find Sebastian right now, Sumner County Sheriff's Office says if you want to contribute, please carefully check your property, including your crawl space, your sheds, small areas on your property, any location where a child who enjoys hiding might be. Also, they're asking you to check around bodies of water if you have a pond on your property. Still no sign of Sebastian as of right now, but we are in contact with those first responders. You can call 1-800-TBI-FIND if you have any information that can help, and we'll bring you updates live through 9.
New this Tuesday morning, we have seen countless potholes and roads that definitely need patchwork across Middle Tennessee. Y'all have been sharing those potholes with us. One city, though, is trying to get ahead of the curve through new technology that they say will help find and then fix the potholes.
Now, that's news you can use, right? Fox 17 News reporter Karen Aguilar joining us live this morning in Gallatin to tell us more about this brand new technology.
Well, it's the first city in this entire state to bring about this new technology that could potentially change the lives of some drivers who just want an easier commute to work or to run their errands. And just a reminder of how potholes and cracks on the pavement are created. I want to show you that, especially when it's wet like this, liquids seep in under that pavement, and then with the change in temperatures, especially when cars are driving over it, it causes those potholes and cracks on the pavement. And this is exactly what the city of Gallatin is aiming to fix. Just on this road behind me, we've seen a pothole. This one is tiny, but we've also seen several deep potholes that we didn't have time to stop in, and hopefully in the later shows we'll be able to show you. But let me explain this technology. The technology includes sensors that have been added to 30 city cars. This technology records any vibrations that may come from uneven surfaces on the pavement. In the past, the city has used a consultant to survey city streets and believes this approach is more efficient. And hopefully, once more data is collected and they are able to fix these potholes, it'll bring some relief to drivers to this issue we've been talking about over and over again. The potholes, which can cause damage to your car and money. So coming up at 7:30, you'll hear more from the city on this groundbreaking technology. Reporting live in Gallatin, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. Coming up, a Fort Campbell person right here facing charges after a car accident. We're going to explain what police say happened.
Early voting coming to an end today, and a live look this morning from the heart of Nashville. There's Old Glory. Man, that wind is picking up out there. But yes, last day of early voting.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Tennessee Home Buyers.
In Operation Crime and Justice, there is a soldier stationed at Fort Campbell now facing charges of driving under the influence and then causing a very serious crash over the weekend.
Let's get you the details here. Police telling us that they responded to that crash Friday night on Fort Campbell Boulevard. And when they got there, they found a woman's car had been rear-ended and the other car involved took off. That was a white Jeep. We understand the woman who got rear-ended was also life-flighted to Nashville, last listed in stable condition. Well, police have now identified the driver of that Jeep as the man on your screen, Daniel Harmon. He's facing charges of driving under the influence, leaving the scene of a crash that resulted in injuries, having an open container, and more.
We're also talking about your voice, your vote, because today is the last day to go ahead and vote early in Tennessee's presidential primary.
Our Fox 17 photojournalist Madison Spraker joining us live right now with a live look from the South Englewood Community Center. So far, more than 21,000 folks in Nashville alone have voted early. That number this time yesterday morning was 17,000.
Yeah, so it's increased.
Yeah, last day to early vote if you want to do that. If not, we've got the presidential primary coming up in Tennessee on Tuesday, March 5th.
So maybe today you do want to get out and early vote. Greg was saying that the showers are moving out around lunchtime, so you might not have too much of an issue this afternoon into the evening.
Absolutely, yes. Second half of the day looks much better than this first half has started off, and even looks right now. A few more light sprinkles, light rain showers this morning. That's how we'll work through it. No more thunderstorm activity until overnight tonight, until tomorrow. The big things to know this morning: very warm, windy, and rainy today and tomorrow. Wind advisory from noon today until 6 a.m. tomorrow, and then an aggressive temperature drop. And I mean very quickly at that, not just from one spot to the other, but how fast it happens. Taking a look, wind advisory for everybody. Why is it only an advisory and not a warning? Because we're going to be in this threshold right here of wind gusts roughly 40 to 50 miles per hour. We're not going to be into a warning category. What does that mean, though? When it comes to why we're getting windy, our next weather maker moves in overnight tonight. Today's high temperature, when it's a little bit cloudy but dry this afternoon, 77 degrees. Nashville, Middle Tennessee showing off a little bit today, and then Thursday morning, we're showing off for a totally different reason. 28, roughly 50 degrees colder Thursday morning than where we're going to be just this afternoon. And then the other piece of the puzzle will be brand new updates when it comes to Future Track. I gave you the latest look at it right before 7 o'clock, and now we're only live in local news source from 7 until 9. You do not want to miss what the radar looks like overnight. I've introduced the word snow. We're going to look at that as the next thing you see coming up in the next check of the forecast. And now I'm being called out on Facebook Live. By the way, if you want to see some behind the scenes stuff, Jen Waddell's on her Facebook page live right now behind the scenes.
Now, you know you have folks' attention when you say snow.
I know.
We're going to check in now at 7:12 for your steer clear traffic update. Right now, we are showing you a live look. This is I-40 at Donaldson Pike. Keep in mind, this is the farthest camera east that we can see, because we do want to let you know that east of this location, from Mount Juliet coming towards Hermitage, there is a big backup. But right now, we can't see where the issue is at hand. This is the camera that we're going to get a look at. This area looks clear. Central Pike is the detour that you can take.
Still to come here on Fox 17 News this morning in our 7 o'clock hour, why one Tennessee lawmaker might be having second thoughts. Would we see a change of heart from Mark Green on his retirement?
Certified pre-owned Honda has a 182-point inspection and comes with 24/7 roadside assistance. Count on certified pre-owned Hondas. Search your local Honda dealer today.
7:15 is the time. In crisis in the classroom, the House version of the school choice bill has been officially filed, and the state education commissioner is finding herself now in the hot seat. So we're asking questions. Democrats say she is not a Tennessee resident. We're working to get answers about this, but we do know Representative Caleb Hemmer says Tennessee Education Commissioner Lizette Reynolds, who is behind the voucher program, he says is not legally qualified for her position. In his opinion, Hemmer says she has no teacher's license and is not a Tennessee resident. He also says the program gives taxpayer money to private schools. Listen now.
There's going to be certain situations in failing schools that parents feel trapped because of the zip code they're in, and they want to have a better opportunity now.
So, you know, we would say, look, this is a problem, and we see this as ultimately taken away from public schools, and ultimately that could penalize some small rural counties.
That is J.C. Bowman from the Professional Educators of Tennessee, who says he likes a lot of the things in this bill, but does not like the school voucher piece because he says it weakens public schools. Now, as for the claims against the commissioner on the part of Democrats, that's something that we're working to confirm. We'll be asking questions today regarding licensing and residency for the commissioner. In the meantime, the House subcommittee does meet later today. They'll be walking through this bill. There's a possibility they could vote on it today. If and when that happens, we'll be the first to let you know.
Going to politics, we have continuing coverage on the future of Congressman Mark Green, who is walking back his retirement announcement, so to speak. Listen, the Tennessee lawmaker says he is now considering re-election. Now, just 2 weeks ago, you'll likely remember this, he told Fox 17 News that he was leaving Washington after accomplishing everything that he wanted to.
And one of the key pieces that he would point to would be the impeachment inquiry that he led into Alejandro Mayorkas. Now, his office at this moment not going into what's behind perhaps this change of heart, but if Mr. Green does decide to run, he could face former Nashville Mayor Megan Barry. That's if she wins the Democratic primary. Loss in the district for a Republican could be tough as they're hanging on to a majority in the House.
In Operation Crime and Justice, a very scary story here. Police say 2 students at Pearl-Cohn High School brought loaded guns on campus. I mean, this is scary for parents, for teachers, everyone. 18-year-old Ladarius Britt is accused of having a handgun in his glove box. Officers say that particular gun was reported as stolen. He is now facing charges of carrying a weapon on school property. And we're also getting more updates about the second teenager that we're showing you right here on the screen. Officers say they found the gun in 18-year-old McMinnville Green's backpack. He said he brought it to school for protection.
Green charged with carrying a weapon on school property as well. Both of those guns, by the way, found during random searches. Time right now is 7:18 and making headlines. The Mega Millions jackpot now sitting at $563 million. Powerball's up there too.
Yeah, so this is the 8th largest in history. The lump sum payout after taxes, get this, it's about $265 million. The next drawing is set for today, so if you don't see me tomorrow, I'm just saying I won it all.
No, you better be here. I mean, at least give us a heads up, okay?
Okay, fine.
And we want to hear from you. Will you buy a Mega Millions ticket ahead of tonight's drawing? In a live poll on our Twitter account right now, 65% of you say no.
That's fine. You're just increasing my odds.
154 votes right now. This is active. It is live. If you would like to take part in our poll, you can answer yes or no, and then you can also leave us a comment. Scan the QR code right there on your screen. That'll get you straight to our Fox Nashville Twitter page.
Hey, Greg, I'm curious. After a busy morning with lightning and thunder, are some places still seeing some of those light showers out there?
Yeah, and they're kind of hard to pinpoint because they're popping up and then kind of dying down. A few little light raindrops here and there. Then you close the umbrella, and they start right back up. And then you open the umbrella, and then they stop. It's that kind of rain here this morning, those little intermittent showers. And we are dying down with all of that. So afternoon, evening plans, all looking great. Once the rain does finally turn off early afternoon for everyone, nothing to worry about until well after midnight. And that's when the last push of weather here with this system starts to move in. Future track 7 o'clock goes to 9, 10, 11, 12. So you can see all these little spatterings of just this light, very light greenish gray that indicates sprinkle activity. Nothing like the thunderstorms overnight. Good news is we didn't have any severe weather. We just had a lot of lightning and thunder. If it woke you up, it might have caught you off guard. There's nothing to be worried about, and tonight likely won't be either. But here we are. This is the new update. Watch the colors, watch carefully. The timeline, and the reason this is happening that I'm going to show you. The timeline has slowed this down. About 8 hours ago, this line of thunderstorms was already through Hopkinsville by 1 a.m. Just that much geography does a lot when it talks about coming in with cold air right behind a system. 4 a.m., now we're into portions of southern Kentucky and far northwestern middle Tennessee. 7 a.m., broken lines of some showers and storms move in. These updates have been frequently showing the occasional possibility of a little snowflake action in the Bowling Green area out toward Tompkinsville. We'll keep our eyes on it. Nothing to write home about, but if you can go from 77 degrees this afternoon to snowflakes in some spots by tomorrow morning, that tells you how cold we're going to be and how quick.
Greg, thank you. Let's get into steer clear traffic right now. We do have some pretty big backups north of Nashville. Want to bring your attention right now to I-24, where it merges with I-65 on the northwest side of town. So that backup right now is folks coming in from Clarksville, Pleasant View, Jolton, Springfield. We do have a significant backup almost, I'd say almost to Old Hickory Boulevard. And that is traffic that is currently merging with folks on I-65. Here's a live look at the backup on I-65. 45. This is north of that junction where it's backed up to Dickerson Pike. So definitely a slow roll for our northern commuters right now. I would give yourself about an extra 10 or 15 minutes to work through this congestion.
A bill passing the Tennessee House that would keep local governments from bringing representatives back after they were expelled. We're going to tell you why some say this bill is targeted.
If you are tired of hearing street racers, the peeling out, the ruckus, sometimes even gunshots being fired, you'll be glad to know that Metro Police have just arrested several people they say are connected to street racing. We'll get you that update in about 2 minutes.
You're watching Fox 17 WZTV Nashville.
Fox 17 News proposal that would keep local governments from reappointing state lawmakers who get expelled has now passed the Tennessee House. This coming about after the debacle last year at our Capitol, where we had leaders like Justin Jones and Justin Pearson and Gloria Johnson who led protests in the chambers. Jones and Pearson got expelled. Well, after that expulsion, their local governments very quickly reappointed both of them. Representative Pearson calls this current proposal government overreach. He claims it takes power from local officials. Senate Speaker Randy McNally says that his chamber is going to see what the House does before they consider any of the proposals on the table, and we will keep you posted. Right now, we have 5 people facing charges as Metro Police are cracking down on street racers. I know a lot of you will be glad to hear this because they can terrorize our neighborhoods. The 4 people on your screen right here: Amilcar Mejia, Catalan Rodriguez, Pablo Rodolfo, Leandria Bailey, and then one 17-year-old who's not been identified, all arrested and charged with performing dangerous stunts in South Nashville during an illegal street racing meetup. Right now, a proposal that would ban all flags from our Tennessee classrooms except the Tennessee state flag and the American flag has now passed our state house. There are a lot of folks who are in support of this measure, saying those 2 flags I just mentioned are the only ones that should be in our school, the state flag and the U.S. flag. But there are opponents who say that this is targeting members of the LGBTQ community. There was a question as to whether this proposal would allow, for example, the Confederate flag to be displayed. The response to that question was basically that if a Confederate flag or, say, a Union flag were shown in a presentation, say a slideshow during a class lesson, that would be allowed as it pertained to curriculum. We know the Senate is set to take up the issue next.
7:27, looking ahead to the upcoming weekend. Between now and then, a lot of things are going to happen. We've tackled all of them so far. So what happens when we get to Saturday and Sunday and I've had to work through rain, thunderstorms, big temperature drops? We get back to a pretty good place. 69 degrees on your Saturday, 74 degrees on Sunday. Nighttime temperatures get back out of the 20s and go back into the 40s. We flip the calendar. It is the first weekend of March. Warming back up, again, well into the 60s and 70s. Small rain chance. Don't worry about that too much. Again, all of our emphasis is going to be on overnight tonight and the possibility of storms after midnight. 77 very warm degrees later on this afternoon, but that does come with 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So a very warm, windy day in store.
Greg, thank you very much. Good reminder to secure the trash cans when you get home later today. Hey, let's check steer clear traffic. I-40 at 46th Avenue. Good morning to all of our friends waking up with us west of Nashville. If you're coming in this morning from Dickson, Kingston Springs, or Bellevue, slightly congested as you approach Nashville, but no crashes here. That's the good news. Let's get a real quick check here for our friends up in Sumner County. Vietnam Veterans Boulevard stacked up for sure coming into Nashville, but again, no crashes reported here. Just your typical morning slowdowns. Give yourself an extra 10 or 15 minutes to get through. A longtime mid-state minister has life torn upside down after an arrest on suspicion of DUI. Still to come on Fox 17 News this morning, this next half hour, why his arrest and the following legal proceedings sparked outrage.
All they have to do is be fair. But they're not. I can help.
The Good Feet Store, improving people's lives 2 feet at a time.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Now on Fox 17 News this Tuesday morning, there is new technology in Gallatin helping drivers with an all too common problem, pothole problem. The latest efforts to patch all those potholes.
Taking a look outside, a far different view than what we saw about 4 hours ago. Thunderstorms that probably woke you up overnight. Those have moved out for now, but another round I'm tracking overnight tonight coming up in your forecast.
Thank you so much for waking up with us here on a Tuesday morning. For Fox 17 News, I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We're glad to be your live local news source, always here for you through 9 a.m. And snow has now entered the conversation in the weather department. If you are watching us live right now over on our Facebook feed, you know that this has been a hot topic. Greg is going to tell us what's going on as we go through today, tonight, and into tomorrow.
Okay, so it has entered the conversation. It has not taken the front seat. It's kind of like, imagine you have your giant SUV and then you have the hatch in the back. It's in the back in the trunk right now. It's not the front lighter for it, but we could see a few flakes overnight depending upon where you're at. Low impact. Here's where we're at on radar right now. Looking really good. We have a couple of light sprinkles, a few light rain showers that are tracking their way out of the area, and they're going to continue to do that throughout this morning. Expect a dry afternoon, a dry evening. Very windy though. Wind gusts are going to be up near 40 miles per hour later on this afternoon. So that means that we have a wind advisory from noon until 6 a.m. and also very warm, 77 degrees later on this afternoon. We're going to look at future track. We're going to time in some rain, possible thunderstorms overnight tonight, and look at that one little area across the viewing area that could see a few of that conversational snowflake story coming up in a few minutes. Right now, steer clear traffic.
Oh, Greg, okay. Steer clear traffic update at 7:32. Do want to take a live look over at I-40 at Spence Lane, where you can see on your screen just a little bit of that Tuesday morning commute, but nothing serious. A light brake check in this area. If you're heading out to I-40 at Spence Lane, we're giving you the green light. Just give yourself a little bit of extra time if that is part of your commute. We'll continue tracking all your traffic updates, though, throughout 9 o'clock.
Well, new this morning, speaking of traffic, chances are you've hit a pothole or 100 in the last few weeks. And they are everywhere. Yeah. There's not a part of town that doesn't have them, and some of them are craters. I mean, you know, a foot deep in some places, causing drivers a lot of frustration, damage, dollars. But we have one city right here in the mid-state that has new technology that should help spot these things and fix them faster.
I'm so curious about this. Right now, Fox 17 News reporter Kieran Aguilar joining us out there live in Gallatin with more on this new technology.
Yeah, good morning. It's a frustration for drivers even on this road that are just looking for a smooth surface to drive through here without risking damaging their car. We've even seen a couple school buses roll through here on a road that down the street has a pothole on it, including other patches of uneven surfaces. Drivers are just passing through that pothole so far because take a look. It's a very slim road to be dodging potholes, but people do it. It's a complaint we've heard and been covering for a while, but some relief may be on the way. A new technology using sensors have been added to 30 city cars right here in Gallatin. Take a look at your screen. Engineer Charles Gavigan says 30 sensors are attached to the axles of dozens of city cars. This box can measure the vibration from potholes and other cracks in the road. It's the first city in the whole state to use this technology to fix the potholes, and data is still being collected on how efficient it is. But still, in the past, the city has used a consultant to survey city streets and believes this approach is more efficient. Gavigan tells us more.
Potholes are still going to happen, but we hope that we can apply different types of pavement treatments that may slow down water intrusion that causes those potholes or anything along those lines.
Now, Gallatin is leading the way in what it seems to help address some of these potholes and cracks on the pavement. But the question is, will other cities follow through as well? We're working to get that information. When we have it, we'll bring it to you. Reporting live in Gallatin, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. New this Tuesday morning, Murfreesboro police arresting a man for DUI, but his blood test proved that he didn't have alcohol or drugs in his system.
All right, we have our Fox 17 News reporter Kelly Avellino joining us. William Rose, a minister, he says his life has been thrown into an upheaval for more than a year now over all of this. Charges dismissed. Kelly, was this a false arrest?
Okay, that's a really loaded question. There's a lot of legal factors that go into proving a false arrest in Tennessee. William Rose, again, who does ministry, he teaches classes to the migrant community. He doesn't have any kind of criminal record here. He says he never drinks, and he believes he was falsely arrested. However, whether a court would find the same, certainly a high standard according to legal experts. Now, after Rose got into a fender bender in Murfreesboro back in October of 2022, officers said they believed they smelled alcohol on him. You're looking at dash cam video of that stop. Rose saying he had just used hand sanitizer. He offered it to police, but they asked him out of the car anyway, telling officers as well that he's long had balance and eye issues that he never really had thoroughly diagnosed medically. Now, during a field sobriety test, you could see there Rose struggled to keep his balance walking a straight line.
I was very nervous. I was very scared because obviously I couldn't maintain my balance, and I was turned around. He put my hands behind my back and he threw handcuffs on me and told me I was being arrested and charged with DUI.
All right, several months later, the blood test comes back 100% clear of any trace of alcohol or drugs. The charges were dismissed and later expunged about 8 months later. But Rose says he's still dealing with major repercussions here. He lost his ability to drive, to teach those English classes, and to afford auto insurance. Since I'm uncovering here that background checks are often not really accurate at all, his DUI charge potentially still showing up. Now, Rose says those officers should have really taken into consideration that he did not have alcohol on his breath. He was coherent the whole time. You can see him having a conversation in the dash cam video there. He also says his eyes were not bloodshot. So he certainly feels that his life has been turned over multiple times because of this. Tonight, I really get into the factors of what goes into a false arrest, what goes into getting an accurate background check, which again, Rose is still dealing with, and why he was not given a breathalyzer. He asked for a breathalyzer on site, which he says would have cleared him, right? It would have potentially. He was not given one, and I'll explain why later.
Fascinating.
Right. Okay, this story tonight on Fox 17 News at 9. Do not miss it. Kelly, thank you for joining us.
Still to come this morning in our 7:30 half hour, a teenager charged in the shooting of another teen in Bellevue in what police now say was an attempted robbery. We'll take you there for the update.
We also have another update to a shooting in 2022, the man that is now behind bars. .41 is the time, and do want to bring you up to speed with an update here on Fox 17 News this Tuesday morning. Metro police say a teenager is accused of shooting another teenager in Bellevue. This was our breaking news story on Monday. Okay, so police now letting us know 18-year-old Wyatt Morrison shot the 18-year-old victim during an attempted robbery behind an old movie theater over on Bell Forest Circle. They then say the victim drove to this nearby gas station that we have video of, that's where we were set up, and then was taken to the hospital with gunshot wounds to the shoulder and also to the neck. Morrison is charged with especially aggravated robbery or attempted robbery. 7:41, do want to check back in for our code red forecast. Greg, a lot going on. We're talking high temperatures, snow, high winds.
There's
thunder.
all kinds of stuff. Yeah, you name it. We're kind of getting a little bit of everything here in the next 48 hours. We've got a bit of a break right now. A few little light rain showers are going to be out there on and off, kind of sprinkled throughout the radar between now and right around, say, 11 o'clock or so. Out the door to warm temperatures, 63 degrees at 8 o'clock, 65 at 9, and 67 degrees at 10. We are aiming for the mid to upper 70s later on today. And as I mentioned, things do begin to dry out. Most of the afternoon stays dry, windy, and warm. Wind gusts up near 40 miles per hour. It is overnight tonight. So the first half, great. I'm going to pause you right here, though. Midnight going into 1 o'clock. Our next weather maker begins to move in. We're going to pick this up right where it's at and carry you through the overnight and a big drop in temperature following that coming up in the next look at your code red forecast in about 6 minutes.
Greg, thank you so much. We do want to also bring you up to speed on your steer clear traffic updates to hopefully save you some time before you head out the door. Here is a live look on your screen, I-24 at Hickory Hollow Parkway. Okay, so you're seeing a lot of congestion, certainly a brake check for this area, but not out of the norms. The good news is for this spot, we're not seeing any disabled vehicles on the shoulders, no kind of accidents, just that nasty congestion that you don't want to get caught up in. So just be mindful of that. Give yourself some extra time. We'll continue tracking all of your traffic updates, though, throughout 9 o'clock. Are you finding it harder to find somewhere to park when you go downtown? Man, it costs so much. We're going to tell you what's fueling this issue and why some Nashvillians say they're in the business of making money here in Nashville. We also want to take a moment just to say thank you for waking up with us every single morning here on Fox 17 News. We are your own.
Hurry into Ford of Columbia today. We don't need another car dealer. We need a better one.
Factory Direct patio furniture sale at Family Leisure. Hundreds of in-stock sets going on right now.
Welcome back. 7:46 is the time. The Nashville Department of Transportation is aggressively implementing its plan to turn metro parking into a for-profit venture.
How are they doing that? Well, by almost doubling spaces and tripling enforcement. Nashville has quadrupled its profits in less than a year.
Here's Dennis Ferrier with the story.
Parking is becoming good business for the city of Nashville. But is it good business for small businesses and you, the people who live here? Rudy's Jazz Room in downtown Nashville is a vibe. Nashville isn't just the country music capital of America. It truly is Music City. And there are a lot of wonderful jazz musicians living here. Nashville native Adam Charney had a hunch, a dream, and a risky idea.
We kind of put our heads together like we don't have a jazz club in Nashville. And, you know, growing up in Nashville, knowing a lot of the musicians, I kind of thought it might work. And sure enough, it did. 6 nights a week, 2 live shows, often sold out. Talk about a groove.
Happy
Until NDOT stepped in and changed the rules for all downtown parking, limiting all people to 2 hours total anywhere downtown.
Before they rolled out the entertainment zones, we saw numbers drop. We had customers leaving because they couldn't even stay for an entire show. So they were leaving and we were losing money every day. So yeah, I am fighting for my business.
Charney stood up for his dream and actually convinced NDOT to allow people to park 3 hours on parts of a couple streets closest to his business. NDOT went further, agreeing to create an entertainment zone. Now 3 small businesses in Nashville have their own special parking rules for just a street or 2 nearby. Rudy's Jazz Room, the Belcourt Theater, and the Anzi Blue Music Venue. Sound complicated? Consider this. Rudy's has its own special parking page on its website. Paid meter parking is available on parts of 5 streets for a 7-hour maximum after 5. Free from midnight until 6 a.m. 3-hour limit from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. The rest of the Gulch is limited to 3-hour max. Better pay attention. The tickets range from $70 to $90. Diana Alarcon is the mastermind of NDOT. She says she needs to control the curve.
And when you put a time limit to it and you're actually enforcing it, it helps keep the turns going so that it can support more business. And so that's really why you do. Again, it's going in and it's about helping to organize the chaos so that the parking is available.
It is also becoming very profitable for the Nashville Department of Transportation. First of all, NDOT almost doubled paid parking spots, tripled the enforcement staff, and what a payoff. By the end of the summer, it was quadrupling revenues. More parking fees, more fines, more tows.
The great thing about this is the income that we do make off of this. And I say income because it's not about the revenue, because I have to take the revenue, subtract out the expenses, and then I get the net income. That net income dollars actually goes back into improving our infrastructure.
How's everything?
For Carrie Bringle of Peg Leg Porker, it's nothing more than using tax dollars to get more dollars from the residents.
You know, punishing your citizens is not a way to drive revenues in your city. And you know, this just seems like that's what they're doing. It's you know, it's a shame, and it's an office that wields too much power on its own without some sort of oversight.
The folks at Rudy's Jazz Room agree. They know they have something wonderful to offer, but with ridiculous property taxes and rents, making parking this difficult is just too much.
So we're needing anything we can get to try to help the numbers work to keep this thing afloat.
So there are no plans. I spoke with NDOT. Actually, I got an email finally yesterday, and they said there are no more entertainment districts. So that's going to be bad news for the people who are waiting to have those special rules. But you saw the map at Rudy's. It's like this street is 3 hours, this street is 2 hours, this street is 6 hours.
It's so confusing. Who can keep up with that?
It's an unbelievable mess. And if you're not from here and you don't know how to maybe even just a little bit work yourself around, tourists are just in a trap.
Right. And the tickets are $70 to $90. I was trying to figure out where the camera is. There it is.
That's unbelievable. I mean, who can afford to pay that? $90 for parking to go to downtown Nashville for a night?
No, this really says, is it worth it?
It also, and the thing we didn't put in the story, follow me on this, it really encourages drunk driving. Because think about it. If you had too much to drink, and let's be honest, some people do, and your car's there, and you know if you leave it, you're going to get a $70 to $90 ticket or be towed. Instead of Ubering back, you're more likely to go, well, I'm just going to risk it and get my car. I don't want that ticket, right? I mean, just boots on the ground truth.
That's probably something they weren't thinking about, not considering. Yeah. All right, Dennis, thanks for your investigation. We appreciate you.
We're going to check in now for your Tuesday forecast. A lot going on today, so just be mindful of that and have your umbrella handy.
It isn't even 8 o'clock in the morning yet. We've already been going through so much last night into this morning. Now we're getting a little break, but we're not done. There'll be a few more little isolated sprinkles, a light shower or two this morning. That'll be done by the afternoon. I promised I'd keep you right where we were at. Here's 1 a.m. overnight tonight into tomorrow. This is when our next round of weather moves in and changes kind of everything in the game. This is 4 a.m. 4 a.m. goes to 5, 6, and 7 o'clock. A secondary band moves in, so we'll be tracking rain with you in real time as you're waking up tomorrow, just like we were earlier this morning. Now, no severe weather, and everything by 11 o'clock is basically done. Nothing to worry about there after that except for a big drop in temperature. 77 degrees this afternoon, 28 degrees Thursday morning. That is a 50-degree temperature change in less than 48 hours. That's more than a degree an hour.
Greg, thanks so much. Checking in on steer clear traffic. I mean, the good news as we approach our 8 o'clock hour is the rain has let up. No more weather impact for our commute. But I did pick this up. This is I-65 at Old Hickory Boulevard. This is I-65 at OHB south of Nashville. Just a car over on the shoulder, not causing a big backup or anything like that. So that's good news. And here's a live look from Briley Parkway this morning. We haven't been over to Briley yet today. No major issues here. Things are flowing nicely over by Two Rivers and Opry Mills. Just watch out for those potholes on Briley Parkway. They'll get you.
All ahead, Tennessee is one of 13 states that taxes groceries. We're going to tell you why some Tennesseans, they are just fed up with the tax. And as Tennessee prepares.
But at Sarah, we prefer to earn your loyalty by giving you our best offer up front. So, find your dream cookie or vehicle at sarahclarksville.com.
Good morning. Just a few minutes before 8 o'clock, Fox 17 News giving you a live look from downtown Nashville. Cloudy start to your Tuesday. We've already seen a round of storms come through. If you were lucky enough to sleep through them in the 4, 5, and even 6 o'clock hours this morning, good for you. We've got more on the way, though. Greg will tell you about the timing and the impacts in just a couple of minutes.
Check this out. Spring is just, I believe, 21 days away, 3 weeks, and Cheekwood and Bloom is returning for its 12th year. I mean, this is just beautiful. You really have to see it in person. Nashville's beloved Botanical Gardens is yet again celebrating the warmer temperatures with their annual Springtime Festival. Cheekwood and Bloom does run from March 9th until April 14th, so you can check out their music, the gardening classes, and weekend festivities for this annual event. We have some photos that you can see from previous years over on fox17.com.
Do you want a break on your grocery tax? I know a lot of folks would say yes to that, and there is currently a push in our state legislature trying to get rid of Tennessee's grocery tax. The bill, as it's been proposed, would eliminate the tax that we all pay on food and food ingredients. Well, we've got people going around the state right now petitioning for signatures at grocery stores. 10 counties in all covered over the weekend. Now, we have 95 counties in Tennessee, but you know, they got to 10 of them. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, so what if we get rid of the grocery tax? How are we going to make up that revenue for the state? Well, the people who proposed this tax break said we should instead tax businesses. Many businesses have said, hold on, wait a minute. If you impose taxes on us, we're going to just pass it along to the customers.
Right, increase our prices.
Yeah, so you can read more about the full bill right now over on our website, fox17.com.
We also have another weather forecast for you, update I should say.
That we do, yeah. The nice update right here is top of the radar is the most calm and quiet it has been since midnight. We're looking good to go. A couple light sprinkles will still be out there, and you can't discount a passing shower. So if you're driving around town, you might have to do the whole click the windshield wipers up one time thing. That might be all you get for the rest of this morning. Look at the weekend. Flipping the calendar to March, the first March weekend, and taking a look, pretty warm, warming up again. 69 degrees on Saturday, 74 degrees on Sunday. Nighttime temps in the 40s with a small rain chance very early on Saturday. But overall, a really nice looking forecast, especially compared to air that we have moving in Thursday into Friday. I'm going to look at that, and I have mentioned the word snow over the last hour. A new look at future track coming up going into our 8 o'clock half hour.
Greg, thank you. Steer clear traffic. I want to take you over by Nissan Stadium right now. This is our camera at I-24 at the Silliman Evans Bridge. No major traffic tie-ups here. Great news. I will say watch for potholes on this stretch of I-24, especially near Ellington Parkway and the Spring Street exits. Also wanted to bring you this shot because I want to remind you that in 2 days, you see Nissan Stadium off in the background there toward the top of your screen. In 2 days, we're going to have the groundbreaking for the brand new Nissan Stadium along the East Bank. We'll be bringing you those stories over the next couple of days.
But right now we have a missing cow update. Yes, police in Mount Juliet say Moo Moo, the cow, Moo Moo is back home, doing well. Moo Moo disappeared.
Moo Moo's back with Mama.
But disappeared from a mini farm along Old Lebanon Dirt Road. Take a look at the photo right here. Police say Moo Moo is friendly and responds to his name, but does not like other male cows. Moo Moo says no.
He's got that territory. But yes, great story, positive ending. I know a lot of you out in that part of town were talking about this on social media, so just want to let you know it has come to a positive end. Moo Moo is now back home. And
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
There's going to be certain situations in failing schools that parents feel trapped.
This is a disgrace. It's pathetic.
Right now on Fox 17 News This Morning, a heated debate over school choice and vouchers. Why the education commissioner is currently under attack.
And this autistic teenager missing out of Hendersonville. We're going to tell you how you can help investigators and hopefully bring this autistic teenager back home.
Finding and fixing potholes could be easier for one city. Coming up, find out which city, and also I'll have the details.
Overnight thunderstorms have now taken us into a calm lull, but taking a look into overnight tonight, we're not done yet, folks. More rain on the way. I'm going to track for you coming up in your forecast.
All right, take that umbrella. Thank you so much for waking up with us here on a Tuesday morning. For Fox 17 News, I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We've got you covered live and local through 9 a.m. And those weather updates keep coming in as they have an impact to the rest of your day and tomorrow. We'll join Greg right now for the latest.
Let's do it. Here we go. 8:01, looking ahead to what is new for you this morning. And the two big things are warm and windy for right now. We had the storms overnight. Those have come and gone. We had no severe weather, but boy, did we get a lightning show for many of us right at the end of the night, as many of us were just getting ready to maybe an extra hour of sleep, and then we got woken up. Now we're talking about tracking more rain overnight tonight into tomorrow. A sprinkle this morning can't be ruled out. Afternoon and evening are going to be dry. Wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour this afternoon and into tonight and tomorrow morning. Very windy. That's the next part of the picture. And then thunderstorms do start after midnight tonight. Once again, not expecting severe weather, so keeping it all clear when it comes to Code Red. But once again, There could be some thunder that wakes you up the second half of tonight into tomorrow morning. Wind advisory not just for 1 or 2 counties. Everyone who can see us right now is under a wind advisory. Wind gusts will be between 25 and 40 miles per hour going throughout that 18-hour span, noon all the way through 6. Coming up in the next check of your forecast, we'll look ahead to future track and an update to timing of storms overnight and what that could mean for potentially bringing the word snow into, as we're putting it this morning, into the conversation.
Thank you, Greg. At 8:02, we also want to check in for another steer clear traffic update. We're taking you to Bellevue, showing you a live look at I-40. Old Hickory Boulevard, where you can see no issues are at hand. We have no crashes, no brake check. Traffic is running smoothly again. This is over in Bellevue. More steer clear traffic updates to come.
Right now at 8:03, we have a breaking news update this morning. The TBI has issued an endangered child alert for a missing 15-year-old you see right here on your screen. This is Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, last seen in Hendersonville Sunday night, reported missing Monday morning. He does have autism. Now, he is verbal, but this community in Hendersonville, especially around Beach High School, incredibly concerned and really wanting to get him home.
Our latest update when we checked in asking, hey, is there any more details about this? Well, authorities say that you should check your crawl spaces, think underneath the deck, maybe if you have a pond in your backyard, and then check your video cameras because you never know, you might see this teenager.
Right. So just they're saying if you want to help, that's the best thing you can do. Now, they do have search crews. They've been using choppers and search dogs and volunteers all stationed up right along Long Hollow Pike there by Beach High School, kind of as a command post. But again, to Erica's point, if you want to help, the best thing you can do is just check your own property and call 1-800-TBI-FIND if you have any information that can help.
Well, new this Tuesday morning, let's talk about potholes because we have seen countless potholes and there are certainly a lot of roads that you all tell us about that needs patchwork, okay, right here in Middle Tennessee.
You know, we've got one city in the mid-state that is trying to get ahead of the curve and ahead of the problems through some new technology that would help find and then quickly fix those potholes.
Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar joining us in Gallatin to share more about this really interesting technology, Karen.
Good morning. Well, the new technology would be using sensors, and they're adding them to 30 city cars right here in Gallatin. So when those city cars are driving down through roads like this one here on North Water Avenue, they'll be able to find those potholes and begin the process of fixing them. The technology records any vibrations that may come from uneven surfaces on the pavement. It's the first city in the whole state to use this technology to fix those potholes, which comes as a relief to drivers. In the past, the city has used a consultant to survey city streets and believes this approach is more efficient. Gallatin Assistant City Engineer Charles Gavigan says the new technology is a step in the right direction.
It collects it as we're doing our normal business, gives us constant updates, and I know there's some other technology that the city of Gallatin's trying to utilize in utilities and other stuff like that to identify problems and reduce the manpower that it takes to evaluate for issues.
Now again, it's the first of its kind in the entire state, leaving drivers excited. Coming up at 8:30, I spoke with a driver who gives us her reaction on this new technology. Reporting live in Gallatin, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. Definitely want to hear from her. Now coming up, a Fort Campbell soldier facing charges after a car accident, a serious one. We're going to tell you what police say happened. Early voting is coming to an end today. Taking a live look out here at one of the polls.
Our professional grade, and we are #1. Visit Darrell Waltrip BuickGMC.com.
Fox 17 celebrates Black History Month.
Good morning. Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. It is 8:08, Operation Crime and Justice. The man you see here on your screen is a soldier stationed at Fort Campbell who now faces charges of driving under the influence and causing a serious crash over the weekend.
Police responding to a crash Friday night over on Fort Campbell Boulevard. And officials say a woman's car was rear-ended and the other car just took off. That woman was life-flighted to Nashville. She was last listed in stable condition. Police, though, letting us know that the driver behind the wheel of that Jeep was Daniel Harmon. Right now, you can see his mugshot. He is charged with driving under the influence, leaving the scene of an accident, resulting in injury, open container, and then implicit consent.
In your voice, your vote. Quick reminder for you, today is the last day to early vote in Tennessee's presidential primary. We are live this morning at the South Inglewood Park Community Center where you could go early vote. Nice morning to do it. The rain has moved out. So far, more than 21,000 people in Nashville alone have voted early for the presidential primary. If you don't make it today, you can vote in person coming up Tuesday, March 5th.
8:09 your time, taking a look at your forecast, and this is what I mentioned, a new look at future track and timing out the rainfall that will come down overnight tonight. This morning, a few more weak isolated showers can't be ruled out, but don't expect any claps of thunder or heavy downpours. We're done with that for at least a good 12 to even 18 hours, depending upon where you live. Here's future track going through 5 p.m. Nothing happening there. Might even sneak in a little bit of sunshine, very windy. Wind gusts up near 40 miles per hour and temperatures in the upper 70s. Very spring-like here. Taking a look, future track 4 a.m. So just after midnight, showers and weak storms begin to move into southern Kentucky, and then those will continue to go into middle Tennessee here 7 a.m. tomorrow. And then by 9, 10 o'clock, most of this is done. The second half of your Wednesday, much cooler, only in the 50s. I think 77 today, 50s tomorrow. Big cooling trend is ahead of us. We're going to go from 77 to 58 tomorrow, 50 on Thursday, 55 degrees on Friday. Cool to end the week and to begin the new month with March 1st being on Friday.
Heads up, steer clear traffic. We've got a crash. So a wreck check right now on I-65 at I-24 where the two merge, and then you have to jump off at Trinity Lane or come into downtown Nashville. The crash, it looks like, is contained to the far left shoulder and that far left lane. That's the good news, but look how slow traffic is crawling by. Listen, this is already one of the problem child areas in your morning commute. Look at the backup. This is I-65 at Dickson. This is a solid 2 miles before you get to that crash. So I would say if you're coming into Nashville this morning, you could take Ellington Parkway, Dickerson Pike, or Gallatin Pike to get in as good detours.
Now to crisis in the classroom. The House version of the school choice bill has been officially filed, and the state education commissioner is now finding herself, answering some questions. Democrats say she is not a Tennessee resident, and that's a claim that we're working to get some more answers about. Representative Caleb Hemmer says Tennessee Education Commissioner Lizette Reynolds, who is behind the voucher program, he claims she is not legally qualified for her position. Hemmer says she has no teacher's license and is also not a Tennessee resident. He also said that the program gives taxpayer money to private schools.
There's going to be certain situations in failing schools that parents feel trapped because of the zip code they're in, and they want to have a better opportunity now.
So, we would say, look, this is a problem, and we see this as ultimately taken away from public schools, and ultimately that could penalize some small rural counties.
Who you just heard from there is J.C. Bowman from Professional Educators of Tennessee, who says he likes a lot of the things on the bill, but does not like the school voucher piece because he says it weakens public schools.
All right, and as for the claims from Democrats regarding the education commissioner, we're working to get to the bottom of those claims, and that House subcommittee meets later today to walk through the bill. They might vote on it, and if they do, we'll be the first to let you know.
The fight for our country is not so much here in D.C. for me. It's kind of with D.C.
Okay, Mark Green right there. We're going to tell you why Mark Green might be backtracking his retirement announcement.
And today could be your lucky day.
We make it happen.
At 8:15, we have continuing coverage on the future of Congressman Mark Green, who is now walking back his retirement announcement.
Okay, let's see what's going on here. The Tennessee lawmaker confirms that he is now considering re-election. Now, just a couple weeks ago, he put out a statement, and it came here to our Fox 17 station, where he said he was going to leave Washington after accomplishing his goals. One of the most recent was launching that impeachment inquiry into Alejandro Mayorkas. His office not going into details into what might be behind this possible change of heart, but if Mr. Green does run, he could face former Nashville Mayor Megan Barry if she wins the Democratic primary.
And listen, a loss in this district could be a big blow to the Republicans, which is trying to hold on to the slim majority over in the House. A lot more updates to come.
You got it. Plus, Operation Crime and Justice right now. Police confirmed 2 students at Pearl Cone High School in Nashville brought loaded guns on campus.
18-year-old Ladarius Britt is accused of having a handgun in his glove box. Officers say the gun was reported as stolen. He does face serious charges of carrying a weapon on school property, theft as well. Officers also telling Fox 17 News they found a gun in 18-year-old McKinnville Green's backpack. He said he brought it to school for protection. Green was charged with carrying a weapon on school property. We're showing you both of their mugshots right here on the screen. Both guns were found during random searches.
All right, let's talk luck. Is Lady Luck on your side? Mega Millions jackpot, $563 million tonight, and it would take a lot of luck to win it. It is the 8th largest Mega Millions jackpot in history. The lump sum after taxes, so if you take the lump sum after taxes, you're looking at $265 million. Yes. Next drawing is tonight.
Yeah, we want to know, what do you think? Will you buy a Mega Millions ticket ahead of tonight's drawing? Right now it's a live poll in our Fox Nashville X account. Goodness, 67% of you all say no, you're not going to buy one. I'm buying like 3.
I'll probably buy a couple. I mean, I know the odds are worse the bigger the jackpot gets, but...
Well, Greg, you heard it here first. If we're not here,
we'll at least we'll give a couple weeks.
If you're both not here and Justin's not here and I walk in the door and realize that,
you can steer the ship.
Good luck, Greg. May the force be with you. You're leaving too?
I'm getting right out of here and finding both of you and seeing where you're at. I would buy a water park, by the way. Not that
a
anyone
water
asked.
park?
Yes.
Really?
I would buy and build a water park and y'all can come for free.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is very specific.
Cool. Isn't it? Taking a look here. Wind advisory in effect noon until 6 a.m. We are going to be windy. Wind gusts up near 40 miles per hour. This is going to be one of those days where the wind will be kind of incessant. If you are not surrounded by buildings, you're going to definitely feel it here knocking you around, especially on some of our more rural roads. Keep that in mind. And this is going to be all day today and tomorrow. Where's your garbage can at? Hope it's not going to be on the block. Make sure you know where it's at before you go to bed tonight. If you left it out today for the garbage collection to come, then bring it in as soon as you can get in, because tomorrow morning, who knows? Neighbor's yard, that's probably where it might end up being with 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts. All clear when it comes to code red. Not a problem there. Storms, a big cool down after them. We have more thunderstorm action tonight. Last night's didn't give us any severe weather. We weren't worried about it, but it gave us a lot of lightning. Speaking of lightning, that's today's topic on Severe Weather Awareness Week. So just know, even if we don't have severe wind, large hail, spin-up tornadoes, none of that's in my forecast for tonight. Lightning could be with us once again as we work through it. Let's talk about that big cool down. We're going to get a little flash of winter air, and our average temperature should easily be in the mid to upper 50s this time of the year. So getting down to 28 degrees and then 34 degrees that quickly means the wind has to pick up to bring in that weather maker from the north and the west. We don't have it as bad as some portions of the country are going to have it, though. We're not talking about feet of snow. We're not talking about temperatures that are going to go close to, if not below, 0. For us, just winter coats. Thursday morning and Friday morning. Let's talk weekend. We do warm up a little bit, back to 69 degrees on Saturday, 74 on Sunday. Nighttime temperatures more manageable, back into the 40s and 50s. So just a quick flash of it, but we're going to get it. Colder air for a couple of days to end the week.
Greg, thank you so much. 8:19 is the time. I do want to bring you up to speed on an incident we were following. This is going to be a live look right here, I-65, I-24 junction. You can see, luckily, that crash scene has moved over onto the left-hand shoulder. So lots of flashing lights, but it's causing quite a significant slowdown for this area. I do want to ask Jen real quick, can you give us a alternate route we could take for trying to get around this?
Yeah, sure. So if you're north of Nashville and you would typically take I-65 to come in, you could take Dickerson Pike. You could take Ellington Parkway. You could take Gallatin Pike. Those will all bring you straight into downtown Nashville.
After the break, we want to let you know about a bill passed the Tennessee House that would keep local governments from bringing representatives back after they were expelled. Why some say this bill, though, is targeted.
Street racers have been targeting our neighborhoods, causing chaos.
Satellite-free DirecTV. Never thought I'd see the day.
Well, our lifespans are quite short.
Stream DirecTV without a satellite dish.
I'm going to do this thing with my neck just for a bit.
Good morning and welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. It's 8:23 right now. A proposal that would keep local governments from reappointing expelled state lawmakers has now passed the Tennessee House. All of this coming to a head after the mess in our state capitol last year. The bill comes after Republicans expelled Democratic Representatives Justin Jones and Justin Pearson, nearly expelled Gloria Johnson after they protested and led all kinds of disruption on the floor. Well, after they got expelled, Pearson and Jones, their local governments very quickly reappointed both of them. Representative Pearson calls this proposal government overreach, says it's taking power from local officials, but others say there has to be a level of accountability and responsibility for actions. We understand the speaker says he's going to see what the House does before considering any of these proposals. We will let you know what happens next. 5 people facing charges this morning. Metro Police cracking down on street racing and getting them off the streets. The 4 people you see here on your screen, we have identified: Amilcar Mejia, Catalan Rodriguez, Pablo Rodolfo, Leandria Bailey. Plus, we have a 17-year-old who's not identified. All 5 of them facing all kinds of charges. Police say that they were doing dangerous stunts in South Nashville during an illegal meetup. Right now in Tennessee, there is a proposal on the table that would ban any flag from our classrooms with 2 exceptions: the Tennessee state flag and the American flag. This proposal passed the State House just yesterday. Supporters say they're trying to limit outside influence that may not be connected to, for example, curriculum, but opponents say this measure is targeting members of the LGBTQ community. So here's what we know so far. Again, it did pass the House yesterday. We are working to find out how or when it might be moving forward after this. The Senate is set to take it up next. We'll let you know what happens.
8:25, and getting a cup of coffee this morning and getting out the door is a little bit tougher to do than it might have been the last couple of mornings. So we had the rain that was down, we have wet pavement, we have the thunderstorms early in the morning. The wind has picked up. You will notice that. Make sure we have both hands on the steering wheel today. I'm not kidding. You're going to have 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts later on this afternoon through the evening and even into tomorrow morning. We did not do a dog of the day today because we were actively tracking thunderstorms. When we have the busy days, got to keep you all safe first. That's the first and foremost thing. So your dog walking forecast. We are drying out. Wet grass, wet pavement for sure, but most of us, aside from a sprinkle, can get warmer temperatures very quickly. 73 degrees at 1 p.m., 75 degrees at 3 o'clock. You can still always send in your dog of the day photos. We'll go right back to it tomorrow morning and into your Friday as well, all the way through the rest of this week, I should say. Send us your dog of the day by going to Facebook, meteorologist Greg Bobus. You find that pinned post, and that's where you share your photos, and you'll see them right here on our air. One thing you're not seeing is a lot of movement on a few of our traffic cameras this morning. It has been a busy start to our day, Jen.
Yeah, sure has, Greg. Appreciate you. Right now, let's get into steer clear traffic. I want to show you the one and only crash that we are following right now. This is the crash I-65 inbound to Nashville at the I-24 junction. This is where the 2 interstates merge, approaching downtown Nashville north of town. You can see it's just about cleared in that far left shoulder, but causing a huge backup. It is backed up for miles, even past Dickerson Pike. So if you're coming in this morning from north of town, I would suggest Ellington Parkway, Dickerson Pike, Gallatin Pike to come on in to Nashville. Also want to just show you this quick backup along I-24. You're stacked up 4 wide coming in by Hickory Hollow Parkway. No crash here, but definitely a backup. I would say give yourself, if you're coming in on I-24 this morning, southeast of town, give yourself maybe an extra 10 or 15 minutes to get where you're going on time. A minister who has been working for years here in the mid-state says his life has been torn upside down after he's arrested on suspicion of DUI. Still to come in our 8:30 half hour, why his arrest and the following legal proceedings have sparked outrage.
New technology.
Nashville. This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Eurostone. You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Now on Fox 17 News this Tuesday morning, there is new technology in Gallatin that might be cracking down on potholes and helping drivers along the way. We're going to tell you about the latest efforts to patch the potholes. Greg.
Waking up looking much better than a few hours ago. The thunderstorms probably woke you up if this is anywhere you can see from anywhere near your house. But we're going to roll through one more round of thunderstorms overnight tonight into tomorrow. I'll track them for you.
Ooh, we are stacked up 4 and 5 wide on I-65 right now north of Nashville. We'll help you steer clear of this with the best detours in minutes.
That's a mess. But hey, thank you so much for waking up with us here on a Tuesday morning. For Fox 17 News, I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We are glad to have you covered live through 9 a.m. when those other stations go to national pre-recorded programming. That's not live. We've got you covered live and local for the next half hour.
So let's get you right out the door and get you moving. What can you expect? We did have the rain overnight. No severe weather. We didn't have any indicators of it. We didn't even really have much of a hail situation across the board. What we did have was the lightning and the thunder that may have woken you up and caught you off guard. I promise we're not worried about severe weather. We weren't last night, and we're still not going into tonight. The one area we'll be fine-tuning a little bit later this afternoon will be portions of southern Kentucky. But Nashville on south, do not worry about a thing. There will be, though, a few rumbles of some thunder right in the middle of the night. Wind advisory from noon until 6 a.m. Wind gusts between that 18-hour time frame could be as high as 40 miles per hour. So it'll be really windy, especially trying to drive in that when you're on the highways. Be careful. And then an aggressive temperature swing by Thursday morning. Let's just look at it now, and then we'll start piecing together that rain for you in about 8 minutes. But take a look. 77 degrees later this afternoon, 58 degrees tomorrow. Not bad. But look at tomorrow night. We'll go from 77 this afternoon to 28 degrees by Thursday morning.
Greg, thank you. This crash on I-65 and I-24 just won't quite clear, and it's causing a miles-long backup right now. So just wanted to let you know we continue to monitor this for you just to help you steer clear of it. Best detours will be Gallatin, Dickson, or Ellington to get around this, especially if you are north of town. Have another backup here. This is I-40 at Briley Parkway over by the airport. We're stacked up 4 wide here. No crash reported by the airport, but something you'll want to just maybe give yourself a few extra minutes for, especially if you are heading over toward the airport.
Talking about driving, potholes, something that's causing quite a headache for all of us, right? We're dodging them, and that's pretty much a regular thing depending on where you're at.
I feel like some of them just rattle your teeth and everything in your car. But we do have one city here in the mid-state that has new technology that should help both spot and then quickly fix potholes, along with any other uneven surfaces on the roads, just to give us some relief.
Let's get to it right now. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar joining us live from Gallatin, telling us more about this technology.
Good morning. Well, we've seen potholes and cracks mainly on back roads, but also on main roads like this one behind me on West Main Street in Gallatin. Take a look at the size of that hole wedged in between that yellow line. This is an area where dozens of cars drive through here daily. Some of those cracks are found, that you just saw, are found in the way of drivers who just want to see them patched up. While some relief could be on the way, new technology using sensors have been added to 30 city cars right here in this city to make finding and fixing uneven pavements a lot easier. Engineer Charles Gavigan says the 30 sensors are attached to the axles of the city cars. The box can measure the vibration from potholes and other cracks in the road. The data is collected and put into a heat map. It's been about 2 or 3 weeks, and they've been able to identify areas with uneven surfaces. What they weren't getting before was how things were progressing over time. But with the new technology, it's good news, especially for drivers like Oriana Thaxton.
I think it's absolutely fantastic. Like I said before, I've had multiple tires pop to do the potholes, and it's just like constant, and they don't seem to get fixed ever. So it's awesome, and I think it's great.
She tells me that she's had to spend money on changing tires. One of the many problems that can happen if you do end up falling into a pothole that's the size of a crater. Now we're working to find out if other cities plan to follow in Gallatin's footsteps. When we have those answers, we will bring them to you. Reporting live in Gallatin, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. New this Tuesday morning, Murfreesboro police arresting a man for DUI, but his blood test proved that he didn't have alcohol or drugs in his system.
All right, so what gives here? We have our Fox 17 News reporter Kelly Avellino. William Rose, a minister, says his life has been thrown into upheaval here, even though charges have been dismissed. So the question I know you're working to get answered is, was this a false arrest?
And that is a very loaded question. A lot of legal factors going into what causes a technical false arrest. William Rose, an upstanding citizen, does ministry, teaches low-cost English classes to the migrant community, doesn't have a criminal record, says he doesn't drink, and he believes that he was falsely arrested. However, whether or not a court would find the same, certainly a very high standard there, according to legal experts. Now, this is the dash cam video. Rose had gotten into a fender bender back in October of 2022. Officers believed they smelled alcohol in his car. Rose saying he just used hand sanitizer, literally, and offered it to police, but they asked him to get out of the car. Rose telling those officers that he's long had some balance and eye issues that he never really had thoroughly diagnosed. During a field sobriety test there, you could see that he struggled to keep his balance walking a straight line.
I was very nervous. I was very scared because obviously I couldn't maintain my balance, and I was turned around. He put my hands behind my back and he threw handcuffs on me and told me I was being arrested and charged with DUI.
All right, now the blood test comes back about 5 months later, finding zero trace of any alcohol or drugs. The charges were dismissed and expunged by a court months later. Rose says, though, still dealing with the repercussions. Lost his job, can't drive because the auto insurance dropped him. The rates they're quoting him now are astronomical because he can't seem to get that DUI charge off his background. He says the officers should never have arrested him. He says this because he says they did not consider that he didn't have alcohol on his breath, he didn't have bloodshot eyes, and he was very coherent. You can hear him having a conversations with officers for like 15 minutes in the car on the way to the jail. That said, again, officers have a job to do themselves. Ultimately, he says that he wanted a breathalyzer test because he says that would have immediately cleared him potentially, but he did not get one. So tonight, I investigate why he was not given a breathalyzer test, what goes into clearing a background check. A lot of them I'm finding are not accurate. And also, again, standards for false arrests, what actually you'd have to prove in court.
All right, that story tonight on Fox 17 News at 9. Kelly Avellino, thank you so much for joining us to really detail this story.
Fascinating. All right, 8:38 is your time. Still to come here on Fox 17 News this morning. This very popular gas station in Bellevue, the scene of a crime. And new this morning, we have a teenager facing charges. We'll get you updated in about 2 minutes.
Real quick, we also want to thank you for joining us here on Fox 17 News, your only local station.
You could stay undetectable with fewer medicines. Ask your doctor about Dovato.
The Good Feet Store, improving people's lives 2 feet at a time.
At 8:41, we do have an update this morning here on Fox 17 News from Metro Police, who say a teenager is accused of shooting another teenager over in Bellevue. This is our breaking news just yesterday. So police say 18-year-old Wyatt Morrison shot the victim, 18-year-old, during an attempted robbery behind an old movie theater on Bell Forest Circle. They say the victim drove to a nearby gas station and then was taken to the hospital with gunshot wounds to the shoulder and neck. Morrison is now charged with especially aggravated attempted robbery. We want to get right back on over to our Code Red meteorologist for today's, well, bizarre weather story, just all over the place.
Yeah, the weather stories had a lot of moving parts here. Part one was the weak thunderstorms. They had a lot of lightning, though, so very loud that tracked in as we woke up this morning. Now we're getting into a little bit of a lull. We have a few light sprinkles that are out there. Those will die down by lunchtime. Afternoon, evening, dry but windy. Wind gusts up near 40 miles per hour. We're tracking incoming storms overnight tonight, and they are going to bring a massive shift in temperature. Upper 70s this afternoon. We're talking about 20s just a couple mornings from now. That big of a shift. Wind advisory is for everyone, though, so be careful driving around. That's going to be the biggest concern is when you're in the open areas. Make sure we're doing the 2 hands on the wheel because we will have wind gusts. It'll be up near 40 miles per hour. Coming up in a few minutes, I'm going to give you one more look at future track to look at overnight's rain and then piece it together with the 7-day forecast showing how quickly we get cool and how long it lasts.
Greg, thank you. Another check of your steer clear traffic update to hopefully save you some time when you get out the door. Here is a live look, I-40 at Fessler's Lane, where you see a little bit of a backup, but nothing serious. I also want to let you know just north of Trinity Lane, that crash is still there, so it is a trouble spot. Hey, are you finding it harder to find somewhere affordable to park when you finally do venture downtown? It's a big issue. We're going to tell you what's fueling the issue and why some say Nashville is in the parking for profit business. And just want to say thank you again, showing you a live sky eye view of Nashville. We're your only...
SafeLight is the one I trust. They focus on safety, so I can focus on this view.
SafeLight Repair, SafeLight Replace.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. 8:45 is the time. The Nashville Department of Transportation aggressively implementing its plan to turn metro parking, it would appear, into a for-profit venture.
By almost doubling spaces and tripling enforcement, Nashville has quadrupled its profits in less than a year.
Here's Dennis Ferrier with the story.
Parking is becoming good business for the city of Nashville, but is it good business for small businesses and you, the people who live here? Rudy's Jazz Room in downtown Nashville is a vibe. Nashville isn't just the country music capital of America. It truly is Music City. And there are a lot of wonderful jazz musicians living here. Nashville native Adam Charney had a hunch, a dream, and a risky idea.
We kind of put our heads together like we don't have a jazz club in Nashville. And, you know, growing up in Nashville, knowing a lot of the musicians, I kind of thought it might work. And sure enough, it did. 6 nights a week, 2 live shows, often sold out. Talk about a groove.
Happy
Until NDOT stepped in and changed the rules for all downtown parking, limiting all people to 2 hours total anywhere downtown.
Before they rolled out the entertainment zones, we saw numbers drop. We had customers leaving because they couldn't even stay for an entire show. So they were leaving and we were losing money every day. So yeah, I am fighting for my business.
Charney stood up for his dream and actually convinced NDOT to allow people to park 3 hours on parts of a couple streets closest to his business. NDOT went further, agreeing to create an entertainment zone. Now 3 small businesses in Nashville have their own special parking rules for just a street or 2 nearby. Rudy's Jazz Room, the Belcourt Theater, and the Anzi Blue music venue. Sound complicated? Consider this. Rudy's has its own special parking page on its website. Paid meter parking is available on parts of 5 streets for a 7-hour maximum after 5. Free from midnight until 6 a.m. 3-hour limit from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. The rest of the Gulch is limited to 3-hour max. Better pay attention. The tickets range from $70 to $90. Diana Alarcon is the mastermind of NDOT. She says she needs to control the curve.
And when you put a time limit to it and you're actually enforcing it, it helps keep the turns going so that it can support more business. And so that's really why you do. Again, it's going in and it's about helping to organize the chaos so that the parking is available.
It is also becoming very profitable for the Nashville Department of Transportation. First of all, NDOT almost doubled paid parking spots, tripled the enforcement staff, and what a payoff. By the end of the summer, it was quadrupling revenues. More parking fees, more fines, more tows.
The great thing about this is the income that we do make off of this. And I say income because it's not about the revenue, because I have to take the revenue, subtract out the expenses, and then I get the net income. That net income dollars actually goes back into improving our infrastructure.
How's everything?
For Carrie Bringle of Peg Leg Porker, it's nothing more than using tax dollars to get more dollars from the residents.
You know, punishing your citizens is not a way to drive revenues in your city. And, you know, this just seems like that's what they're doing. It's, you know, it's a shame. And it's an office that wields too much power on its own without some sort of oversight.
The folks at Rudy's Jazz Room agree. They know they have something wonderful to offer, but with ridiculous property taxes and rents, making park it this difficult is just too much.
So we're needing anything we can get to try to help the numbers work to keep this thing afloat.
Great to see Rudy's recovering. You know, the owner is grateful that he got an entertainment district, but he'd like to see more. There's only 3, and there's plans for no more at this point. So people are going to have to really squeaky wheel it like Adam Charney did. You know, he said, I need this, I need this, I need this, and they responded. But I mean, he was suffering up until the parking changed, right? And by the way, I wanted to mention, the revenues have tripled, not quadrupled. We finally got all the numbers the last 6 months, but I mean, it's a solid tripling of revenues, which is pretty good. Most of us would like to triple our salaries.
Well, right. I mean, I'm thinking about the money here, right? How much more money that the city is making. But does it also seem like at the same time that they don't want people to come park?
Well, that's what people would tell you. They tell you, I mean, if you're 2 hours in a spot, and it comes out, you can't move to another spot. You have to leave downtown or go to a private lot.
You've done so many stories on this. I mean, and there are a lot of layers. It's like peeling off an onion, right?
But you went back in the time machine on that.
Are they encouraging people to just take ride shares?
Well, they would like that, but people don't, you know, it's a driving city.
You want to have your own car.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dennis, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Always appreciate you. 8:51 is your time right now. Greg is here to give us what I believe will be just about the final look at the forecast.
That it is. Look at the skyline right there, looking beautiful right now. That was not the case last night, and it's not going to be the case going into tonight. One last look at Future Track, and your 7-day forecast is coming your way in just a few minutes.
Alrighty, Greg, steer clear traffic here. We got a bit of a backup right now that is flowing along I-65 at the I-24 junction, even though that crash has cleared. So the good news, crash is cleared, but the backup remains, and that's everybody filing into downtown from north of Nashville. A little bit of a backup on a good detour for that area. Typically, if I-65 is backed up there by Trinity, I would tell you to take Ellington Parkway, but look at the backup on Ellington filing into Nashville. Big brake check right there as you pass Trinity Lane. We'll get you wrapped up if there are any other major concerns in just a couple of minutes.
Also coming up, we have an update for a shooting back in 2022 and the other 2 suspects involved.
And like I mentioned, this is going to be one of those days where not much we have.
But at Sarah, we prefer to earn your loyalty by giving you our best offer up front. So, find your dream cookie, or vehicle, at sarahnashville.com.
Right now, we have a quick recap of our top stories this Tuesday morning. A man is behind bars in a shooting that left 1 man dead back in September of 2022. Metro Police arresting this man, Jermaine Jenkins, Sunday night. He is charged with killing Christopher Gooddale over on West Trinity Lane. Gooddale was found in a gas station parking lot, according to police. 2 other people were arrested in connection to the getaway car.
And a fire started this morning on Murfreesboro Pike at Laverne Couchville Pike. This was in an abandoned house early this morning. Fox 17 News there live. We don't have any reports of any injuries connected to this fire because it was abandoned when it started in this house, but this is in the Antioch area, and as we get any more updates, we'll be bringing them to you at fox17.com.
Metro Police say a man was killed in the overnight shooting near Fisk University. Metro dispatchers confirming it happened around 10 o'clock last night on 16th Avenue North. This is near Herman Street. We're told the suspect is in custody. Still no word yet on their identity or their name, any kind of information.
And do want you to know that we continue to monitor the developments out of Sumner County, where we still have an endangered child alert for a missing teenager who has autism. You're looking at Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, last seen in Hendersonville Sunday night, but it wasn't until Monday morning he was reported missing, wearing a black sweatshirt, sweatpants, and glasses that you can see right here on your screen.
Yeah, Sebastian person, as we're told from authorities, likes to hide and be underneath things. So they're asking you to look at the video around your home, perhaps look underneath a deck if you have a shed, anything like that. If you have any information about his possible whereabouts, you were asked to call 1-800-TBI-FIND.
And by the way, if you do see a lot of teams, choppers, search and rescue dogs, that type of a scene near Beach High School today on Long Hollow Pike, just know that that is part of the effort to try to find him.
THP says a man was hit by a tractor trailer and killed on I-65. Also getting more updates, letting us know that it happened on near Robertson County last night. Troopers say Thomas Shack had just gotten into a crash, coming to a rest in the median of the highway.
While crossing the highway to get to the shoulder, troopers say a truck hit and killed him. Tragic. By the way, the truck driver is not facing any charges.
We're going to check in now with our Code Red meteorologist.
One last check here of future track just to show you what's going to happen overnight tonight. Nothing this afternoon or evening. Will be in the 70s, but windy. Keep that in mind. Here's 1 a.m. going to 4 a.m. overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. A broken line of showers and thunderstorms going to track through the area. As you're waking up with us tomorrow morning, we'll be watching them kind of